procedure to be followed under the SAT Act, expressly mandating the trial courts to adhere to its provision in letter and spirit. Inspired by this model, and in keeping with the commitment to meaningful reform, the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh introduced comprehensive amendments to the civil rules of practice for the guidance of the district judiciary, mandating that cases involving serving and retired defense personnel receive focused and expedited attention at the district level. Yes, one thing led to another. I'm equally glad to share with you that recognizing the need for institutional synergy, High Court proposed an amendment to Rule 13 of the Jammu and Kashmir Legal Service Authorities rules, framed under Section 28 of the Legal Service Authorities Act 87. For inclusion of Secretary Zilla Sainik Board as a statutory member of Nalsa. The proposed amendment was thus a step aimed at institutionalizing coordination between legal service authorities and the ex-servicemen community, thereby enhancing access to justice for veterans and their families. The proposal was formally submitted to the government of Jammu and Kashmir, and I express my deep gratitude to worthy Lieutenant Governor Shri Sinha for ensuring the prompt clearance of the proposal. In fact, the notification has been issued yesterday evening itself. As a result, Rule 13 now stands amended, formally integrating Secretary Zilla Sainik Board into the District Services Legal Authorities framework. We feel privileged to inform this august gathering that we are joined today by our Veer Naris and ex-servicemen whose presence here is both humbling and profoundly inspiring. As part of the pioneering initiative to promote grassroots legal support, Veer Naris and ex-servicemen have been engaged as paralegal volunteers. To begin with, 15 Veer Naris and 8 servicemen, ex-servicemen, have been engaged across UT of J&K and Ladakh, and certificates of engagements will be presented during the course of this event. This initiative creates a trusted interface between legal institutions and defense community, ensuring that legal aid is delivered with dignity and lived understanding. Now, as I move further from here, I also wish to draw your attention to the Indian Soldiers Litigation Act 1925, a century-old legislation, but to date as we speak, profoundly relevant. Now, I would delve a little deep here. There's something really crucial coming away. Recognizing the unique constraints faced by the soldiers deployed under special or war conditions, this act provides a unique procedural shield. At its core, it provides for the postponement of legal proceedings involving Indian soldiers who are unable to attend court due to service under special conditions. Upon receiving certification from a prescribed authority or the commanding officer, the court is required to postpone suits, application, and appeals until soldiers can reasonably appear. This act also empowers even the collector to intervene in cases where a soldier is unrepresented and appears to be unable to attend court, ensuring that soldiers' rights are not prejudiced due to absence. In such cases, notice must be issued to the prescribed authority, and the court is bound to suspend the proceedings unless exceptions apply. In addition to, now that's another facet to it, in addition to these protective measures, the Act mandates relaxation of limitation periods, excluding from computation the time during which a soldier was serving under qualifying conditions. This applies not only to the soldier, but also to their legal representatives in case of a death during service. In a sense, the Act creates a protective legal framework that shields serving soldiers from procedural disadvantages arising from their service obligations, thereby ensuring that justice is not denied simply because their duty to the nation always comes first. However, if this framework is examined in today's context, a compelling question that arises, which would seek an answer from each one of you sitting here: why should this protection be limited only to the civil and revenue matters? In a time where criminal litigation, particularly cases under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instrument Act, increasingly involves serving soldiers as complainants and becomes imperative to ask, is it not time to extend similar protections on the criminal side as well. And a survey across Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh revealed that a considerable number of such cases are currently pending before various courts, often involving soldiers unable to meet procedural deadlines due to operational exigencies. The strict timelines imposed for the issuance of a notice or filing a complaint in such cases often exclude those who serve not by law but by circumstances. Soldiers posted at borders in counter-insurgency operations or on prolonged deployments cannot always issue legal notice or appear before the court with rigid statutory windows. And I say this as Patron-in-Chief of the Legal Service Authorities of J&K and Ladakh, that the legislative gap prompted a deeper legal policy reflection. And after extensive research, analysis and institutional consultation, a clear realization emerged that a set of coordinated legislation amendments is necessary to bring the Indian Soldiers Litigation Act 1925 with the demands of modern-day litigation involving defense personnel. And the centenary of this legislation offers a timely opportunity to extend its protective mechanisms to criminal cases where a soldier is a complainant, especially matters under 138 of the Negotiable Instrument Act, and potentially more. This reform effort also aligns with the broader, now this is again crucial, this reform effort also aligns with the broader national imperative, as the Ministry of Defense has declared current year as the year of reforms. So why should legal reform be left behind? Suffice it to say, a comprehensive legislative framework has been formulated, is formulated to the National Legal Service Authorities, and if it finds approval of Honorable the Executive Chairman Nalsa, widely known for his unwavering commitment to the institutional excellence, there is every confidence that the proposal will be steered in the right direction. Now, this brings us to something extremely crucial in context of the two central themes of the conference. One that cuts to the very core of the constitutional vision of equal access to justice and which needs immediate gap bridging. Despite forming a deserving and vulnerable class, members of the armed forces, ex-servicemen, and their dependents are not expressly included within the scope of the statutory framework governing legal aid, even though they face a growing volume of civil, revenue, and service-related litigation. There are compelling and multi-dimensional reasons to provide such institutional support. Soldiers often operate under extraordinary constraints, including long deployments, all of which limit their ability to access timely legal assistance. These operational challenges are further compounded by their personal and family vulnerabilities. These difficulties become particularly acute in rural and semi-urban areas where access to legal resources, awareness of rights, and availability of affordable legal advice remain significantly limited. It may again come as a surprise to many that a national level recommendation in this regard existed for over 5 decades. In 1973, much before even the Legal Services Authorities Act even came into being, an expert committee on legal aid chaired by Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer recommended that legal aid should be extended to serving defense personnel, ex-servicemen, their wives, and war widows. The committee rightly recognized that those stationed in perilous terrains and remote borders face unique barriers in accessing justice. It aptly affirmed the legal aid in its truest sense must defend the defenders. You serve at the front lines, on mountains, in deserts, across oceans, and yet sometimes your struggles, your voices remain unheard beyond the battlefield. That must change. And I'm quite hopeful, rather a feeling creeps in, that possibly that change is about to unfold in a moment from now. Encouragingly, Honorable the Executive Chairman Nalsa, Justice Surya is here, given the deep sentiment and unwavering regard he holds for the defense forces of our nation. We are confident he had something truly meaningful up his sleeve, something crafted with thought, compassion, and vision as he prepares to launch the Nalsa Veer Parar Sahayata Yojana 2025. And if our sense proves right, this initiative could well mark a watershed moment in the history of legal aid in India, ushering a new era of inclusivity, recognition, and service for those who have long stood guard for the nation. This vision aligns squarely with the very purpose of our gathering today to bridge the long-standing institutional and procedural gaps that impede access to justice for defense personnel and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, as I draw to a close, I am reminded of a quote I once read. If you truly wish to do something for a soldier, be an Indian worth fighting for. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Lordship, for the keynote address, which has insightfully laid the path for critical reforms, transformative amendments, and renewed commitments of ensuring access to justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, Kargil Vijay Divas recalls moments that continue to blaze in the national memory, igniting pride and patriotism in every Indian. We are deeply honored to have with us today Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, Param Vishesh Seva Medal, Ati Vishesh Seva Medal, and Sena Medal, General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Northern Command, who has played key roles in strategic military operations, including Operation Sindoor, and I humbly request him for his special address.
Honorable Justice Shri Surya Kant, Judge of the Honorable Supreme Court, Honorable Minister of State, Law and Justice, Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Honorable Lieutenant Governor, Shri Manoj Sinha, Honorable Shri Justice Arun Palli, Chief Justice, High Court of J&K and Ladakh, Honorable Chief Minister Shri Omar Abdullah, Honorable Justice Shri Sanjeev Kumar, Honorable Shrimati Justice Sindhu Sharma, Lieutenant General Prashant Srivastava, GOC 15 Corps, Shri Rajesh, who is the ADG of CRPF, respected members of the judiciary, esteemed dignitaries, members of the legal fraternity, fellow officers, ladies, gentlemen, and our brave soldiers. Jai Hind. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be part of the significant event which marks a milestone in the recognition of importance and requirement to focus on prioritization and expeditious disposal of legal cases involving our serving soldiers, veterans, their families, and Veer Naris. The event coincides with 26th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Divas, which recognizes the conspicuous courage, indomitable bravery, grit, determination, and sacrifice of our soldiers, which forced the withdrawal of Pakistan forces from our sacred soil. As you all are aware, that our soldiers serve in the most demanding and often unforgiving terrains under challenging operational environment with utmost dignity, discipline, and unwavering commitment. Every soldier of Indian Army is deeply committed to its oath to serve the nation with honor and pride. A soldier may not always express, but he too is encumbered with the responsibilities back home. And sometimes his innocence and prolonged absence due to his commitment on the borders are exploited to embroil him into avoidable legal issues. As part of a large family, we in the Army provide him moral and psychological support and also be a facilitator to deal with the problems. But a formalized architecture to address legal issues will be a huge morale booster for the Indian Army. Hence, this onerous initiative by the Honorable Judiciary, which focuses on this often neglected need of the armed forces personnel, is deeply reassuring and reinforces our trust and faith in our legal system. This initiative is not just a procedural reform, but has the potential to transform the welfare spectrum of military personnel, especially related to litigation issues, which would contribute immensely to health of our organization. By recognizing the unique nature of military service and creating mechanism for a faster route to justice, the judiciary is paving the way for a more responsive legal defensible system. It will provide a platform for the uniformed personnel, veterans, and VNRs to seek timely redressal without hesitation or prolonged distress. The impact of the scheme will thereby contribute to the morale of our men and women in uniform. I urge the esteemed members of the judiciary that this mechanism may be developed in a manner to provide accessibility to each and every soldier deployed in the remote areas along the borders. We assure you of all our support for this unique endeavor. On behalf of the Indian Army and the entire Armed Forces fraternity, both serving and retired, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the judiciary, particularly to the Honorable Chief Justice of the High Court of J&K and Ladakh, and all those who have worked behind the scene and recognized the unique circumstances and rolled out this landmark initiative. On this particular occasion of Kargil Vijay Divas, I also take the opportunity to pay homage to the brave hearts who sacrificed their lives to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our motherland. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. In this solemn and stirring moment, when the spirit of service and justice fills this auditorium, it is with great respect and humility that we invoke the wisdom of the Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India and Honorable Chief Justices of the participating High Courts, whose gracious presence amongst us today is not only deep.
even if we are not at war, that's also needs to be applauded. They are silently serving us without making any hue and cry, and therefore I congratulate the Nalsa to have taken up such an initiative, because these are some areas which we generally tend to forget, though we should not. And I again conclude by congratulating all present here to have taken such an initiative. As I said, your contribution during peace period is equally applauded. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lordship. It's indeed our good fortune to have amidst us Honorable Mr. Justice N. Koteshwar Singh, Judge Supreme Court of India, and we are equally fortunate to have Lordship's desire to say a few kind words.
First, I salute the Indian Army and Armed Forces for the wonderful job you do for us, all of us, so that we can all work in peace. When you are deployed in such a difficult terrains, I mean, I visited some of the remotest corners of J&K. I had the fortune to interact with the armed forces there, located in Tangdar. Beyond Tangdar is Keren, that near Neelam Valley, I think that, and Gurez also, and Tawang, of course, Leh Ladakh. Unimaginable condition under which you serve. I went to the last village, Indo-Pak border, in Gurez. So I was told that they are going to stay for 6 months incommunicado. I mean, this is a solitary confinement. Had it been a judicial term, it would be a solitary confinement, stuck in that mountain top, solitude. Well, of course, I must congratulate Jammu Kashmir Legal Service Authority for a wonderful initiative you have taken. This is something you have, integrating the armed forces in the legal services scheme, something which has not been done in the past. We know so many of the soldiers, especially who belong to who are foot soldiers, who suffer from different problems. As we all know, they are deployed in far-flung areas. A person deployed in J&K today may be airlifted in Northeast within few hours. And a Jawan posted in Northeast may be airlifted in J&K or Rajasthan, far-flung areas, totally different climatic condition, cultural conditions, under such difficult circumstances, yet they're also human beings. They have their domestic problems, as rightly pointed out by, I'm so happy, so glad that we have been able to integrate this very important segment of our institution in our legal service institution, which will greatly help those, especially those retired also. I'm so happy that the Sainik Board also have been part of this. It is something I'm sure other state legal service authority will emulate this example set by Jammu Kashmir Legal Service Authority. That's why we see there's so many cases we come across. A soldier, and I wish this is also extended to paramilitary forces also. I mean, let us not confine only to the armed forces, all down. Therefore, it is so important. And they are doing the same job, actually. Some are, of course, in the front line. Some are also looking up at the problem in our internal problem, also getting more difficult in today's, in modern India. Therefore, they are also airlifted. CRPF, for example, they are lifted from one state to another state. So important that they have been brought in this, and they will huge the kind of resources, the kind of expertise legal services have, we can share with the armed forces and the paramilitary forces. We will go a long way in making the access to justice really, really meaningful. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Lordship's gracious words touch the hardships faced by our soldiers and the tough conditions under which they perform. Certainly, sir.
I don't know why does destiny bring me this opportunity. दो बातें हिंदी में भी कर लेते हैं. मैं जब छोटा था तो आर्मी कैंप हमारे घर से 2 किलोमीटर दूर था. मेरी माँ कहती थी, देखिए ये वो लोग हैं जो पढ़ाई करते हैं और अपने घर से दूर हैं और अपने घर को सपोर्ट करते हैं. लिहाजा पढ़ाई ही एक ऐसा जरिया है, भले घर से इंसान दूर रहता है लेकिन वो अपने घर को सपोर्ट करता है. दिस इज हाउ आर्मी इज अ सपोर्ट सिस्टम फॉर एजुकेशन इन द विलेजेस. बचपन से ही हमको ये बताया जाता था कि ये कितने दूर से आते हैं, बॉर्डर्स में रहते हैं, इनको कोई ज़रूरत हो तो हमको इनका साथ देना चाहिए. इन लोगों को जब ये आते थे गांव में तो हम लोग अपने सबसे बेहतरीन पाले हुए मुर्गे इनको कम प्राइस पे देते थे और ताकि ये मनोरंजन से अपना भोजन कर सके. मुझे याद है मेरे पिताजी कहते थे कि पानी इनको बड़ी मुश्किल से पहाड़ों पे मिलता है, हमको मदद करनी चाहिए चश्मों से इन तक पानी पहुंचाने की. हम अपने घोड़े जो घर में पालते थे उनका इस्तेमाल करके कैनों में इनको ऊपर पीक्स तक पानी पहुंचाते थे. इन लोगों की एक्सेस हमारे लिए सुरक्षा ही नहीं थी बल्कि हमारा मनोबल बढ़ाने के लिए, हमारी एजुकेशन की बढ़ोतरी के लिए भी बहुत ही एक नायाब मिसाल थी. मेरा ये कहना है और सिर्फ एक ही कहना है, बॉर्डर्स की सुरक्षा जितनी भी है वो हमारे आर्म्ड फोर्सेस के हाथ में है. इन्होंने सिर्फ हमारी टेरिटरी को ही नहीं आज तक संभाला है, संवारा है, बल्कि इन्होंने गांव की एजुकेशन में एक बहुत बड़ा सहारा दिया है. आप हमारी शिक्षा का ऐसे ही सहारा दीजिए. आपकी तकलीफ अगर हमारे जुडिशरी में कोई होगी हम उसको पीछे कभी उसको नेग्लेक्ट नहीं करेंगे. थैंक यू.
सर, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. We'll come back to the format of the program. Now I request Honorable Mr. Justice Arun Bhansali, Chief Justice, High Court of Judicature, Allahabad, for Lordship's kind views.
On the Kargil Vijay Divas, we humbly bow our heads in remembrance of the extraordinary courage and sacrifice of our brave soldiers who reclaimed our peaks in the year 1999. Our salute to the Indian Armed Forces, which is the unwavering shield of our nation's pride and sovereignty. They are defenders of our dreams, guardians of our nation's freedom, and forever is in our gratitude. Jai Hind to our brave soldiers who embody selfless service and unwavering dedication to the motherland. Thank you.
Thank you, Lordship. I request Honorable Mr. Justice Sheel Nagu, Chief Justice, Punjab and Haryana High Court, for Lordship's gracious words.
Thousand salutes to the soldiers here present. On a personal note, I may share that I'm an army officer's son. My father entered the army sometime in 1949 or 50, maybe. He was second course IMA. And he was there in the 61 war, he was there in the 71 war. Though later he took voluntary retirement sometime in 81. And then we settled down in Madhya Pradesh. So I've seen the rigors that the army personnel go through. Every 2 years you're transferred out. We've been posted in Assam, in Kashmir, Dehradun, Lucknow, many places. And therefore, I thank Nalsa and also Justice Palli for initiating this very a very important and a very useful program for the defense forces. And once again, 1,000 salutes to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Honorable Mr. Justice Gohanathan Narendra, Chief Justice, Uttarakhand High Court, for Lordship's kind words.
The dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries off the dais. As my brother, I am the son of a former service officer. My father joined the Emergency Commission in 1965, and he started his stint, incidentally, with the Command Hospital in Srinagar. And it's really, I consider it destiny that I'm given an opportunity, and that too on this auspicious day, to speak in this unique confluence of the defenders within and the defenders on the border and the earliest form of our civilization, the tribals. The words of Captain Vikram Batra, I find it very appropriate to recall here. Either I will come back after hoisting the tricolor, or I will come back wrapped in it. This statement echoes the soul of the forces. And as my brother was saying, 1,000 salutes to the forces, to the braves. Yes, these are the braves who have withstood the 1,000-cut policy and who have been the reason that why we are standing here today. I would conclude this few words of mine, which I consider necessary. Our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each martyr who went down protecting it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Lordship.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Lordship. To the sons and daughters of the defense personnel present in this auditorium, we salute the veterans who have served the nation in uniform. I now very humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Gurmeet Singh Sandhawalia, Chief Justice, Himachal Pradesh High Court, for Lordship's kind words.
Good morning, everybody on the dais, in the audience. I come from, initially from the state of Punjab and Haryana. The difference in the civilian attitude and the army attitude, I would like to point out. I was born in 1965, in November when the war was on. When my mother was expecting, the normal thing is that Chandigarh was subject to air attack. So, and the child should be born far away from the border. So this is the attitude, or what we say, how civilians look at it. At the same time, in 65, the army people would be going forward and sending the men to the border. We have to realize this, how they treat, and as they said, they serve, not to serve, but they serve to sacrifice. It was, we were just passed out of school when we lost one of our class fellows. He was Captain Sandhu. We lost him in Sri Lanka. And his parents used to be our teachers in school. My earnest appeal also here is that the effort, all we are doing is that when young martyrs are like, they're like Captain Vikram Batra also, the effort to look after their parents is a very important thing, which we have to keep in mind. When one goes and visits the Kargil Memorial and you look up at the Tiger Hill and Tolling, the quote from Lord Tenson's it was an uphill charge. It is we quoted as say, of course not canyons here, but canyons on the left, canyons on the right, canyon in front, countryman forward all the way. So that is what their attitude is. We wish them all the best, and we hope this conference will take it forward.
Thank you, Lordship. Honorable judges, we are deeply grateful for your gracious words and for sharing your thoughts with us. It has truly enriched this gathering.
Today, we also recognize another foundational pillar of the nation, our tribal communities. These groups represent not only religious and linguistic plurality, but also vastly different modes of life. And this North Zone Regional Conference aims to bring together tribal community members, leaders, and legal services institutions from across the Northern Zone to address concerns which are not abstract, but are specific to their lived realities. I have the honor of inviting Honorable Shri Justice Sanjeev Kumar, Judge, High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, and Executive Chairman, J&K Legal Services Authority, whose commitment to the cause is an inspiration for all of us.
Judge, Supreme Court of India and Executive Chairman, Honorable Shri Justice Rajesh Bindal, Honorable Shri Justice N. Koteshwar Singh, Judges, Supreme Court of India, Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Law and Justice, Shri Manoj Sinha, Honorable Lieutenant Governor, UT of Jammu and Kashmir, Honorable Shri Justice Arun Palli, Chief Justice High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, Patron-in-Chief, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh Legal Services Authorities, Shri Omar Abdullah, Honorable Chief Minister, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh Legal Services Authority, Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Northern Command, Honorable Chief Justices of participating High Courts, Honorable Executive Chairpersons of Legal Services Authorities, and Honorable High Court Legal Services Committees of the participating High Courts and States, Honorable Judges of the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, Member of Parliament, staff, Honorable Formal Chief Justices and Honorable Formal Judges of High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh present in the conference, Civil and Police Administration, UT of Jammu and Kashmir and UT of Ladakh, Office, members of Rajya Sainik and Jila Sainik boards, Veer Naris and ex-servicemen, members of various tribal communities present here, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. It's indeed an honor to speak on a subject that lies at the heart of inclusive justice, that is reaffirming the constitutional vision of justice for tribals. As we acknowledge and honor the valor and strength of our defense personnel, it's equally important to recognize another foundation pillar of the nation, our tribal communities. India is a land defined by its pluralism, a mosaic of cultures, languages, religions, and communities that coexist across its vast and varied terrain. Among the many threads that weave the Indian social fabric, the tribal communities stand as one of the most distinct, resilient, and yet persistently marginalized segment. Numbering over 85 million, the tribal population comprises roughly 8.6% of India's total citizenry. And yet, their presence, while statistically significant, remains largely peripheral in the national imagination.
economic terms, but as a product of long-standing social exclusion and physical isolation. Paradoxically, while the tribe Pahadi, Anusuchit Janjati are often celebrated as the original inhabitants of the subcontinent. Yet, the indigenous people or the aborigines rooted in the soil of their ancestral lands have been largely identified and defined by the narratives imposed from outside, more particularly during the colonial era, resulting in their discrimination shaped by geographical seclusion and often stemming from systemic neglect. Ladies and gentlemen, what makes Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh's tribal landscape unique? Historian Ramachandra Guha once said, "The tribes are not backward people. They are the people pushed to the margins of modernity." Nowhere does this statement hold truer than in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, where the very idea of constitutional inclusion for tribal communities intersects with some of the most unique, complex, and historically overlooked realities as compared to the rest of the country. Demographically, in Jammu and Kashmir, more than 11.9% of the population identifies as scheduled tribes, comprising predominantly of Gujars, Bakarwals, followed by Gaddis, Sippis, and those in Pir Panjals, and Chenab Valley and the Kashmir Valley. In Ladakh, an overwhelming 97% of the total population is scheduled tribes. Combined, the population of scheduled tribes of both the union territories counts to 1.5 million, which in itself clamors for urgent need to bring them at par with the broader socio-economic fabric of the nation. Although there is a significant tribal presence in other states, with scheduled tribes constituting 5.71% of the total population in Himachal Pradesh and that of 3% in Uttarakhand. But what makes this place a tribal landscape unique can be answered simply in the context of the scale and the diversity of its tribal communities. The Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh is home to a wide spectrum of scheduled tribes, including the Gujars, Bakarwals, Gaddis, Sippis, Bot, Brokpa, Balti, Mon, Changpa, Ghara, Purikpa, and Veda, all of which have distinct ethnic, linguistic, and socio-economic identities. Added recently through 2024 amendment are Pahari ethnic groups like Gadda Brahmins, Kolis, and Padri tribe. Together, these groups represent not only religious and linguistic plurality, but also vastly different modes of life ranging from nomadic transhumance to pastoralism and also seasonal agriculturalists. Ladies and gentlemen, the question is as why the Jammu and Kashmir was chosen as a place for this conference. In present times, with the abrogation of Article 370 and extension of central laws to the twin UTs, the region finds itself in a position of extraordinary opportunity to not merely implement tribal welfare schemes, but to shape, model, and lead the next generation of tribal rights discourse in India. Therefore, what makes the region, more particularly Kashmir, the ideal host for a tribal conference is not just that it's catching up the rest of India's tribal rights framework, but that it offers conditions ripe for policy innovation and new ideas suited best for tribal welfare. The unique yet omnipresent challenges this area faces sets the base for it to be looked as a prototype for tribal development, and this conference would serve as a collective step towards the institutional object of ensuring welfare and holistic empowerment of tribal communities. The purpose would not be ceremonial, but would also be structural, since it aims to bring together tribal community members, the leaders, policymakers, and legal service institutions from across jurisdiction to address concerns which are not abstract, but are specific to the lived realities of the tribal citizens. Since this conference comes at a deeply significant moment, shaped by a backdrop of recent incidents affecting as much tribal highlanders as an urbanite. And given the unique socio-economic and geopolitical and strategic dynamics here, which is unlike than in any other state or union territory, it presents the most compelling case for discourse in India's tribal justice agenda, since it would potentially write a unique chapter for tribal inclusion, robustly underlining the tribal policy in India. The Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh is a place where the listening must begin. The purpose of this conference is not only to take discourse forward, but to bridge the gaps that we have long kept the tribal communities at the margins of the geographical map and the interactive conversations. So today, we attempt to redraw that map not just by words or intent, but through a simple yet powerful gesture of inclusivity. A few moments ago, we witnessed tribal artisans and craftsmen stepping onto this very stage to personally present their handcrafted pieces to the honorable dignitaries on the dais. The gesture was a conscious departure from the conventional mode of honoring dignitaries with the intent to place the tribal artisans at the heart of this conference, not just as participants, but as flag bearers of our rich and vibrant heritage. In presenting these souvenirs to our esteemed guests, we are not only reaffirming the adage that tribal communities are a part of shared national identity through their art, craft, and rich culture, but are also ensuring that their presence and participation is actually seen and felt and does not remain confined to the topics of our deliberations. In fact, the whole idea is to give an entirely new dimension to the preambular precept of social justice by acknowledging and giving recognition to a timeless piece of cultural heritage and to place it at the center of the table and, of course, its craftsmen under the spotlight of our collective efforts. In context, it is with a sense of extreme satisfaction and elation that this gathering may be informed that post-lunch session, we are holding a mega legal services and awareness camp at Harvard, aimed at bridging the gap between tribal communities, the justice system, and the government institutions, promoting inclusion and advancing the constitutional mandate of equal access to justice. The event will include a series of structural activities, among which a key feature will be the setting up of informative stalls regarding schemes and benefits by various government functionaries, enabling direct engagement between the government departments and the beneficiaries, serving the purpose of this conference, bridging the gaps. Now, turning our focus to the scheme, which was recently launched by Nalsa, the Samvad Scheme 2025. As we see the expansion of legal safeguards and the outreach of welfare schemes across the union territories, there is a parallel need to ensure that legal empowerment and access to legal aid for tribal communities are not left behind. It is in this context, the National Legal Service Authority's Samvad, strengthening access to justice for marginalized, vulnerable Adivasis and denotified nomadic tribes scheme 2025 has come into picture as recently as in the month of June this year, to play a pivotal role across the length and breadth of the nation. However, for that to happen, Samvad must be implemented in a form that speaks in addition to the National Legal Services Authority's Protection and Enforcement of Tribal Rights Scheme 2015, which was the first dedicated blueprint for taking free legal aid to scheduled tribes. As an improvised version of 2015 scheme, Samvad is architected around certain parameters defining its action plan for implementation focusing on mobility, outreach, specific enforcement of rights, and targets legal assistance, among others, as its core strength. The edifice of Samvad Scheme 2025 is based on a framework of definite pillars that speak directly to the tribals of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. And through its fresh approach, Samvad provides a complete toolkit for tribal welfare and empowerment. First, it makes a provision for creation and constitution of legal services special units for tribal communities, known as Samvad Unit for tribal communities at district level. It's my immense pleasure to share that 22 Samvad units across the district of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been established and shall be formally inaugurated during the course of this event for their functioning. It also gives me extreme satisfaction to say that Legal Services Authority of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have not only kept pace with the rollout of the new scheme, but have taken the lead in prompt and proactive implementation. Second, it re-engineers delivery around mobility and authorizes district legal services authorities to run mobile legal aid vans and also clinics timed to pastoral migration cycles, and ensures its workability as it mandates 2 PLVs from every DLSA to be selected, preferably from scheduled tribes or particularly vulnerable tribal groups, thereby maximizing the concept of inclusivity. The concept and idea of mobility is integral for the purpose of maximizing outreach and lies at the core of the scheme. I may take this opportunity to inform you that Legal Services Authority of Ladakh, taking inspiration from Samvad Scheme 2025, has embarked upon a noble initiative for launch of mobile hospital program at Ladakh in collaboration with Army Medical Corps and the Department of Health, UT of Ladakh, which is scheduled for its formal inauguration later during the event. The mobile hospital, equipped with basic laboratory, portable X-ray, provision for minor surgeries, would conduct fortnightly or monthly visits to far-flung areas for welfare of nomadic community in particular, and would contribute productively to uphold the constitutional right of health of the tribal populace. Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed heartwarming and a matter of delight that the Tribal Affairs Department of UT of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh are taking efforts towards the holistic development of the tribals and promotion of their art and culture to new heights in collaboration with legal service authorities. In fact, as a result of joint efforts of both the stakeholders, the respective local tribal band logos have been assigned to the articles produced by the tribals, which shall be unveiled during this event, and that would grant unique recognition and dignified identity to the local handcrafts and artistry of the tribals, so as to augment the livelihood prospects of the tribals. The tribal artisans have been custodians of rich culture and legacies, yet access to markets has remained an elusive concept to them. To empower these communities and to provide sustainable and respectable livelihood, only preservation of their culture will not suffice. There is an urgent need to connect them in a dignified manner with the mainstream markets. I'm indeed happy to inform you that Legal Services Authority of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have taken positive steps to empower tribal artisans and craftsmen by facilitating their access to markets. As a part of this endeavor, a dedicated kiosk has been established at Leh Airport for showcasing and promoting tribal products. Similar kiosks are likely to come up at Jammu and Srinagar airports as well. In a short while from now, the kiosk at Leh Airport shall be inaugurated and would be ready for sale of merchandise. So the next time you pass through these airports, please do stop by and witness the rich craft and traditions of our tribal communities. And please don't forget to carry a piece of art with you to contribute in your own way towards tribal development. The efforts to place the tribal artisans and producers of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh on the tribal e-marketplace maintained by the government have also bore fruit, with the positive response from Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Government of India, and the information and awareness regarding access to marketplaces has already been initiated to respective DLSAs and TLSCs of the respective areas. To conclude, let us not forget the Constitution of India opens with a solemn pledge, we the people. It's a promise not merely of identity, but of inclusion of the constitutional precepts of justice, liberty, equality, and dignity for all. And yet in our vision of development, in our design of welfare, and in the architecture of law, those who have been more than sentinels of security, the first responders, not only during conflict, but also in care, those who live at the margins of the maps, the tribal herders without land titles, highland communities without identities, the nomadic families without addresses, are still awaiting the full embrace of inclusive development. As we work together, judiciary, government, civil society, and tribal leaders, let us commit ourselves to equity, dignity, and access to justice for all, especially to our tribal communities. As the new scheme rolls out and the new associations bring justice closer to the ground, we have unprecedented opportunity at our hands to bridge the gaps. Let this conference lead the way, not just in implementing schemes and laws, but in reminding all stakeholders that inclusion is not a charity, but an obligation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to restore to these communities what was always theirs, their inclusiveness in We the People. Thank you so much. Jai.
Thank you, Lordship. We are deeply grateful to Lordship for his insightful keynote address on the tribal segment, a powerful reminder that justice must reach the farthest corners of the country. I now have the honor of inviting a distinguished personality whom we look forward to hear on this special occasion. I request Shri Umar Abdullah, Honorable Chief Minister, Union Territory of J&K, for his special address.
Honorable Justice Surya Kant Sahab, Judge, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and Executive Chairman Nalsa, Janab Arjun Ram Meghwal Sahab, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India, Janab Manoj Sinha Sahab, Honorable Lieutenant Governor, Jammu and Kashmir, Honorable Justice Arun Palli Sahab, Chief Justice, High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, Honorable Justice Sanjeev Kumar Sahab, Executive Chairman, J&K Legal Services Authority, Honorable Justice Sindhu Sharma Sahiba, Executive Chairperson, Ladakh Legal Services Authority, Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma Sahab, General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Northern Command, distinguished members of the Judiciary, Honorable Member of Parliament, esteemed members of the Armed Forces, representatives of the tribal community, officers of the J&K government and other governments, legal professionals, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege to address this gathering at a regional conference of such constitutional significance. This platform is a site for deliberation and for collective reflection on the foundational promise of our republic, the realization of justice, social, economic, and political, as envisaged in the preamble and concretized in Article 39A of our Constitution, which enjoins the state to ensure that access to justice is not curtailed by economic or other disabilities. The thematic focus of today's conference on the rights and entitlements of defense personnel and tribal communities touches upon two segments of our society. One defends the Constitution with unflinching resolve. The other has long waited for its full embrace. Our deliberations today are a reaffirmation of our collective commitment to ensuring that justice is not a deferred aspiration, but a lived experience for both, for those who have served with selflessness and for those who have been underserved for far too long. And it is our collective responsibility to ensure that the institutions of justice rise to meet their needs with speed, sensitivity, and strength. Today, on the solemn occasion of Vijay Diwas, let me begin by acknowledging the service and sacrifices of our defense personnel, both past and present. These men and women, many of whom belong to Jammu and Kashmir, serve in remote, inhospitable terrain with a quiet dignity and an enduring sense of duty. However, when faced with legal challenges, be it service-related disputes, pension matters, or civil grievances, they often encounter systemic barriers owing to geographic remoteness, the mobile nature of their postings, and the distinct constraints of military life. These challenges definitely constitute other disabilities under Article 39A and must be addressed with the urgency and the compassion that they warrant. It is indefensible that those who risk their lives to uphold the Constitution should struggle to access the protections it guarantees. I take this opportunity to commend the J&K State Legal Services Authority for its initiative in amending its legal aid rules to expressly include serving and retired defense personnel. Likewise, the recent procedural reforms introduced by the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir merit appreciation for easing access to justice for our uniformed citizens. These steps are laudable, but they must mark the beginning of a deeper institutional engagement. There is a pressing need to establish a robust coordination among legal service authorities, military legal cells, Zilla Sainik boards, and regimental welfare offices. The establishment of dedicated legal aid clinics in cantonments and in districts with significant ex-servicemen populations should be prioritized. Equally important is the need to ensure that families of defense personnel, particularly widows, aged parents, and dependent children, receive empathetic, expert, and timely legal support. Awareness must accompany access. No soldier or the family of a soldier should be left adrift, unsure of the procedural avenues available to them. To this end, paralegal volunteers trained specially in military legal issues should be deployed in areas with high defense populations. Simultaneously, technology must be harnessed to democratize access through mobile apps, virtual consultation platforms, and user-friendly legal information portals. Justice in our times must not merely be available, it must also be accessible. Turning now to our tribal communities, custodians of rich cultural and ecological heritage, Jammu and Kashmir is home to several scheduled tribes, including Gujars, Bakarwals, Pahadis, Gaddis, and Sippis, who have preserved ancient traditions while braving difficult terrain. The recent extension of key constitutional protections through the Forest Rights Act, the Panchayat's extension to Scheduled Areas Act, and affirmative action policies mark a historic correction in the arc of legal recognition. Our government has correspondingly augmented its development efforts. This year, the capital expenditure for tribal welfare has been raised to 98 crores. 6 Eklavya model residential schools have been made operational. 222 smart classrooms have been established in tribal-dominated schools, and healthcare services have been expanded through mobile medical units. The Tribal Research Institute has also been commissioned. These interventions reflect our commitment to combine dignity with development. Yet development alone cannot substitute justice. Structural barriers to legal literacy, representation, and redressal continue to persist among tribal populations, owing to linguistic, cultural, and geographic factors. The Legal Services Authority has commendably operationalized 255 legal aid clinics, including in tribal villages and correctional institutions, supported by 527 panel lawyers and 561 paralegal volunteers. However, we must go further. It is important that paralegal volunteers are trained from within the tribal communities themselves. This will ensure that legal support is rendered in familiar idioms, dialects, and cultural frameworks. We must also expand mobile legal aid vans, promote the use of tele-law platforms, and facilitate virtual hearings. Justice, if it is to be meaningful, must reach every remote hamlet from Poonch to Kishtwar and from Rajouri to Karna. Simultaneously, a sensitive balance must be maintained between national security and the rights of tribal citizens. Many tribal regions are located in border belts or areas of heightened security oversight. However, law enforcement must not translate into legal disenfranchisement. Mechanisms for lodging complaints, accessing courts, and redressing grievances must be made transparent, timely, and responsive. Alternate dispute resolution mechanisms also offer immense potential. Lok adalats, mediation centers, and village-level panchayat forums, when duly sensitized, can provide swift, culturally respectful adjudication, especially in matters related to land rights, service entitlements, and local grievances. These models need to be institutionalized and resourced accordingly. Capacity building is essential. Judicial officers, legal aid lawyers, and field functionaries must be trained in tribal customary law, military jurisprudence, and the ethics of constitutional service. Only through sustained cross-learning can our justice system be truly responsive to the diversity it is meant to serve. Equally indispensable to legal empowerment are institutions of learning. I am pleased to share that the government of Jammu and Kashmir has sanctioned the establishment of a dedicated law university with an initial outlay allocation of 50 crores. Preparatory work is underway. This university is envisioned as a center of excellence focused on legal instruction, research, and policy innovations, particularly in domains such as tribal rights, constitutional law, military justice, and environmental governance. It is an investment in cultivating an inclusive and capable legal ecosystem for future generations. Let me conclude with the timeless words of Mahatma Gandhi. A nation's greatness is measured by how it treats its weakest members. In our context, the true test of our legal system lies in its treatment of all the weaker sections of the society, including those who have defended us without question and those whose rights have too often gone unrecognized. We must meet this test with humility, clarity, and resolve. On behalf of the government of Jammu and Kashmir, I reaffirm our unwavering support for the legal services authorities and their partners in delivering justice to the most marginalized. We must remain committed to providing every institutional, financial, and technological support necessary to transform constitutional promises into everyday realities. I express my deep appreciation to Honorable Justice Surya Kant Sahab, to Honorable Minister Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal Sahab, and the National Legal Services Authority for bringing these vital institutions to the forefront, and I look forward to valuable deliberations and outcomes from this conference. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for such a thought-provoking and visionary address. It's now my privilege to invite a distinguished personality with a deep sense of public service. I request Shri Manoj Sinha, Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, for his special address.
आज के इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम में मंच पर उपस्थित सुप्रीम कोर्ट के माननीय न्यायमूर्ति तथा नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन जस्टिस श्री सूर्यकांत जी, सभागार में उपस्थित माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के सभी न्यायमूर्तिगण, केंद्रीय विधि एवं कानून राज्य मंत्री स्वतंत्र प्रभार आदरणीय श्री अर्जुन राम मेघवाल जी, जम्मू कश्मीर एवं लद्दाख हाईकोर्ट के माननीय मुख्य न्यायमूर्ति जस्टिस श्री अरुण पल्ली जी, जम्मू कश्मीर संघ राज्य क्षेत्र के माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री उमर अब्दुल्ला जी, जम्मू कश्मीर एवं लद्दाख हाईकोर्ट के न्यायमूर्ति तथा जम्मू कश्मीर लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन श्री संजीव कुमार, जम्मू कश्मीर एवं लद्दाख हाईकोर्ट की न्यायमूर्ति तथा लद्दाख लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी की चेयरपर्सन जस्टिस श्रीमती सिंधु शर्मा जी, सभागार में उपस्थित नॉर्दर्न जोन के विभिन्न राज्यों के मुख्य न्यायाधीश गण, सभी न्यायमूर्ति, भारत सरकार और जम्मू कश्मीर प्रशासन के हमारे वरिष्ठ अधिकारी, श्री प्रतीक शर्मा जी, सेना सीएपीएफ के सभी वरिष्ठ अधिकारी, सेवानिवृत्त सेना के माननीय अतिथिगण, देवियों, सज्जनों तथा मित्रों, मैं बात शुरू करूं उसके पहले श्री अरुण पल्ली जी को हृदय से बधाई देता हूं, जिन्होंने इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम के आयोजन में मैं कहूं कि मुख्य भूमिका निभाई है। और जो तिथि चुना है, मैं समझता हूं कि बात शुरू करने के पहले कारगिल में शहीद अपने उन सेना के वीर जवानों के शौर्य को नमन करते हुए मैं अपनी बात प्रारंभ करना चाहता हूं। वैसे मेरा कानून का कोई न मैंने कभी पढ़ा है न ज्ञान है, सीरियल जब बढ़िया चल रहा हो तो विज्ञापन थोड़ी देर का ठीक लगता है। मुझे विज्ञापन के तौर पर सीरियल अभी आने वाला है, मुख्य विज्ञापन के तौर पर खड़ा कर दिया गया है। मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि विज्ञापन की मर्यादा का ध्यान रखूं और फिर आपके बीच से विदा हो जाऊं। मैं नेशन फर्स्ट और जम्मू कश्मीर संघ राज्य क्षेत्र की न्याय व्यवस्था के संरक्षक और विकास की कतार में खड़े परिवारों तक ईज ऑफ जस्टिस सुनिश्चित कर रहे सभी न्यायमूर्तियों तथा जम्मू कश्मीर लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के सभी पदाधिकारियों का भी एक बार फिर से स्वागत करता हूं। हमारे यहाँ संस्कृत में कहा गया, अंगे न गतरम नयने न वक्रतम नयने न राज्यम लवने न भोज्यम धर्मे न हीनम खलु जीवितम चनराजते चंद्र मासा निशा। अर्थ इसका ये हुआ कि बिना किसी अंग के मानव शरीर, बिना आंखों का चेहरा, एक प्रभावी और शक्तिशाली न्याय व्यवस्था के बिना राज्य, बिना नमक के पका हुआ भोजन और धार्मिकता और धर्म का पालन किए बिना मानव जीवन, इसे कभी शोभा नहीं मिलता, ये शोभित नहीं होता है। वह ठीक वैसा ही है जैसे आकाश में चंद्रमा के बिना एक अंधेरी रात होती है। 6000 वर्ष पूर्व जो हमारे मूल ग्रंथ वेद, उपनिषद, इनकी जब रचना हुई थी तब से उसमें न्याय व्यवस्था को सर्वोपरि माना गया है, क्योंकि उसका सबसे बड़ा लक्ष्य जो था समाज में धर्म यानी न्याय की स्थापना और अधर्म यानी अन्याय का विनाश करना बताया गया था। और हमारे सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का जो प्रतीक वाक्य है वह भी महाभारत के अनुशासन पर्व से ही लिया गया, यतो धर्मे ततो जय, अर्थात जहां धर्म है वहीं न्याय है, वहीं विजय है। महाभारत के अलग अलग स्थानों पर इस प्रतीक वाक्य का उपयोग कई बार हुआ है, जिसका एक प्रयोजन था कि विषम से विषम परिस्थिति में, कठिन से कठिन परिस्थिति में लोगों को याद दिलाया जाए कि जहां न्याय होगा विजय वहीं होगी। अनेक प्रसंग हैं, एक दो का मैं जिक्र करना चाहूंगा। दुर्योधन जब कुरुक्षेत्र में जाने से पहले अपनी मां गांधारी से आशीर्वाद लेने जाता है तो उन्होंने, मां गांधारी ने उसे विजय का आशीर्वाद नहीं दिया, बल्कि गांधारी ने कहा कि जहां न्याय है वहीं विजय होगी। कर्ण ने दुर्योधन का साथ कभी नहीं छोड़ा, मित्रता निभाई पूरे जीवन भर, लेकिन उसे पता था, वो जानता था कि दुर्योधन न्याय के विरुद्ध है, और इसलिए भगवान श्री कृष्ण के साथ अपनी मुलाकात में उसने कहा था कि केशव आप चिंतित मत होइए, जहां न्याय है वहीं विजय है। विदितम में ऋषिकेश यतो धर्मस् ततो जय। कुरुक्षेत्र में युद्ध से पहले महर्षि व्यास धृतराष्ट्र के पास गए थे, और आप सब जानते हैं कि धृतराष्ट्र के पास दृष्टि नहीं थी, वो आंखों से देख नहीं सकते थे, और उन्होंने दृष्टि देने का प्रस्ताव उनके पास रखा है। लेकिन धृतराष्ट्र पिता होते हुए भी ये कहते हुए उन्होंने मना कर दिया, इसकी कोई आवश्यकता हमको नहीं है, क्योंकि वह जानते थे कि जहां न्याय है वहीं विजय है। और महाभारत में कहा गया, न चैव साक्यम संयंत्र यतो धर्मस्ततो जय। महाभारत के सभी उदाहरण इस बात के प्रमाण हैं कि भारतवर्ष के लिए न्याय व्यवस्था कोई नई व्यवस्था नहीं है। हजारों वर्षों से न्याय व्यवस्था भारत की आत्मा से जुड़ी हुई है, हमारी जीवन पद्धति से जुड़ी हुई है, इसके विकास के केंद्र में रही है। और इसीलिए न्यायालय को हमारी संस्कृति में न्याय का दफ्तर, न्याय का ऑफिस नहीं कहा गया, बल्कि न्याय का मंदिर कहा गया, जहां बिना किसी भेदभाव के सुनिश्चित किया जाता है कि सबको समान न्याय मिले और लीगल सिस्टम तक उनकी पहुंच समान रूप से बन सके। मैं आप सबको स्मरण कराना चाहूंगा, संविधान सभा में डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर जी ने 25 नवंबर 1949 वो बड़ा ऐतिहासिक भाषण दिया, जिसका मुख्य उद्देश्य नीति निर्माताओं और भावी पीढ़ी को इस बात के लिए आगाह करना था कि राजनैतिक, लोकतंत्र और सामाजिक लोकतंत्र का स्वरूप देश को देना होगा। सामाजिक न्याय को केंद्र में रखते हुए बाबा साहब ने कहा था कि स्वातंत्र्य, समता और बंधुत्व के 3 सिद्धांत आजाद भारत के लिए बड़े आवश्यक हैं। उन्होंने इस बात पर विशेष बल दिया कि सामाजिक और आर्थिक न्याय पूरी तरह से स्थापित हो तथा समाज का कोई वर्ग, खासतौर से गरीब, शोषित, आदिवासी, ये अन्याय का शिकार न होने पाते। मैं कह सकता हूं कि बाबा साहब के सपनों के अनुरूप 2019 में जम्मू कश्मीर में भी भारत की संसद ने एक आमूलचूल परिवर्तन किया और जिस पर देश के सर्वोच्च न्यायिक मंदिर ने अपनी वैधानिक मुहर भी लगाई। 890 केंद्रीय कानून जो पहले जम्मू कश्मीर में लागू नहीं थे, वे लागू हो गए और उसका लाभ आजादी के बाद पहली बार जम्मू कश्मीर के अनेक नागरिकों को मिला। बच्चों के शिक्षा का अधिकार लागू हुआ। सफाई कर्मचारी एक्ट के द्वारा सफाई कर्मचारियों के अधिकार सुनिश्चित किए गए। दलित भाई बहनों पर अत्याचार रोकने के लिए जो कानून था वो जम्मू कश्मीर में लागू हुआ। माइनॉरिटी एक्ट प्रभावी हुआ। देश के अन्य राज्यों में लेबरर्स माने श्रमिकों के हितों की रक्षा के लिए मिनिमम वेजेस एक्ट वो भी लागू हुआ। उसके सभी उपनियम इंप्लीमेंट किए गए ताकि उनके हितों की रक्षा हो सके। इसके अलावा सैनिकों और आदिवासियों के कल्याण के लिए भी अनेक कानून लागू हुए हैं जिसकी चर्चा मैं आगे करूंगा। लेकिन उसके पहले मैं एक बात कहना चाहूंगा कि देश के सभी नागरिकों के बराबर जम्मू कश्मीर के नागरिकों को भी अधिकार मिला। समता और सामाजिक न्याय की व्यवस्था स्थापित होने की ओर जम्मू कश्मीर आगे बढ़ा। भारत का संविधान सामाजिक, आर्थिक और राजनीतिक न्याय की गारंटी देता है। न्याय प्रदान करने का एक पहलू यह भी है कि सभी नागरिकों को न्याय तक पहुंच मिल सके तथा यह सुनिश्चित किया जाना चाहिए कि न्याय सबसे करीब व्यक्ति तक पहुंचे जो इसका सबसे अधिक हकदार है। सभी नागरिकों को न्याय तक पहुंच प्रदान करने के संवैधानिक उद्देश्यों को पूरा करने के लिए देश की संसद ने लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी एक्ट 1987 पारित किया था, जिसका उद्देश्य समाज के कमजोर वर्गों को निःशुल्क और सक्षम लीगल सर्विसेज प्रदान करना था और ये सुनिश्चित करना कि आर्थिक या अन्य अक्षमताओं के कारण किसी भी नागरिक को न्याय प्राप्त करने के अवसरों से वंचित न होना पड़े। केंद्रीय स्तर पर नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज और राज्य संघ राज्य क्षेत्र स्तर पर स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी संविधान द्वारा निर्धारित उद्देश्यों को पूरा करने का समर्पित भाव से प्रयास कर रही हैं। जम्मू कश्मीर लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी फ्री लीगल एड, लीगल अवेयरनेस, लोक अदालत के अलावा पीड़ितों के लिए मुआवजा भी सुनिश्चित कर रहा है। वंचित समुदाय को फ्री लीगल एड प्रोवाइड करने के लिए एक डेडिकेटेड स्कीम भी जम्मू कश्मीर उच्च न्यायालय चला रहा है। आउटरीच प्रोग्राम कमजोर वर्ग जैसे ट्रांसजेंडर, सीनियर सिटीजन, आपदा पीड़ितों के लिए कानूनी प्रतिनिधित्व भी सुनिश्चित कर रहा है। मुझे इस बात की अत्यंत प्रसन्नता है नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के विभिन्न कार्यक्रम जैसे लीगल सर्विसेज टू विक्टिम्स ऑफ एसिड अटैक, चाइल्ड फ्रेंडली लीगल सर्विसेज, लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी के माध्यम से डिजास्टर विक्टिम के लिए लीगल सर्विसेज तथा असंगठित क्षेत्र के श्रमिकों के लिए कानूनी सेवाओं की योजना को लागू किया जा रहा है। जेलों में कानूनी सहायता क्लिनिक द्वारा भी विचाराधीन कैदियों और दोषियों के लिए कानूनी परामर्श तक पहुंच सुनिश्चित हो रही है तथा युवाओं में संवैधानिक मूल्यों और कानूनों के बारे में जागरूकता बढ़ाने के लिए स्कूलों तथा कॉलेजेस में लिटरेसी क्लब चलाए जा रहे हैं। जम्मू कश्मीर लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी ने नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के तत्वावधान में 4 नई योजनाओं डॉन, जागृति, आशा तथा साथी की शुरुआत की है। इसके विस्तार में मैं समझता हूं कि जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। अनेक लोगों को इसका लाभ मिल रहा है। और अगर आंकड़ों को देखें तो वर्ष 2025 के दौरान अब तक जम्मू कश्मीर लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के विभिन्न कानूनी सहायता योजनाओं के अंतर्गत लगभग 12,000 से ज्यादा लोग लाभान्वित हो सके हैं। मैं समझता हूं वंचित वर्गों के अलावा हमारे समाज के 2 अन्य महत्वपूर्ण वर्ग हैं जिन्हें विशेष रूप से आवश्यकता थी, और मैं समझता हूं कि इसी निमित्त ये कॉन्फ्रेंस आज यहाँ रखी गई है। व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरा मत है कि सेना के जवानों और आदिवासी समुदाय के सदस्य हमारे देश के ऐसे अंग हैं जिन पर हमें कानूनी सहायता प्रदान करने, उनके लिए न्याय सुनिश्चित करने के संबंध में जितना अधिक ध्यान यह देश दे सकता है, मैं समझता हूं वो देना चाहिए। अब दुखद स्थिति ये थी कि सेना का जवान यहाँ अपनी जान तो दे सकता था, लेकिन एक झोपड़ी नहीं बना सकता। अनेक शहीद सैनिक जिन्होंने जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों की रक्षा के लिए, भारत की सीमाओं की रक्षा के लिए अपनी शहादत दी, लेकिन कानूनी रूप से इसका हकदार नहीं था कि यहाँ एक झोपड़ी डाल सके। ये सब कानून अब बदले गए हैं 2019 के बाद, और इसलिए दूर दराज के क्षेत्रों में सीमा पर तैनात हमारे जो जवान हैं, मेरे पूर्व के अनेक वक्ताओं ने बताया है, मैं उसके बारे में समय जाया नहीं करना चाहता, जिनकी वजह से हम आज यहाँ खड़े होकर बोल रहे हैं। उनके अधिकारों के प्रति जितना जो ये आयोजन हुआ है, मैं आयोजन से जुड़े सभी लोगों का हृदय से अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं और उम्मीद करता हूं कि जल्द से जल्द आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस में जो डेलिब्रेशंस होंगे वो निश्चित रूप से कार्यान्वित करने की सफलता में मिल सकेंगे। लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी की भूमिका उनके अधिकारों की रक्षा करने, कानूनी रूप से उपलब्ध सुविधाएं प्रदान कराने में निश्चित रूप से मददगार होंगी। मेरा व्यक्तिगत विचार है कि हम अपनी बहादुर सेना के वीरों, वीरांगनाओं तथा उनके परिवारों का ऋण कभी चुका नहीं सकते, लेकिन उनके लिए न्याय और गरिमापूर्ण जीवन हम अगर सुनिश्चित करते हैं तो मैं समझता हूं कि उनके प्रति हम अपनी श्रद्धा व्यक्त कर पाएंगे। हमारे महान राष्ट्र का एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण वर्ग आदिवासी समुदाय है। मैं उन्हें सिर्फ भारत का मूल निवासी नहीं, बल्कि मैं मानता हूं इस देश पर तथा उसके संसाधनों पर, व्यवस्थाओं पर सबसे ज्यादा हक आदिवासी समुदाय का है। लेकिन आदिवासी समुदाय जो सामान्य तौर पर खानाबदोश, जिन्हें नोमैडिक कहते हैं, उनके कानूनी अधिकार कहीं न कहीं जरूर प्रभावित होते हैं। उनके लिए भी न्याय सुनिश्चित करने में लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी एक बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभाने जा रही है। जम्मू कश्मीर ने इन दोनों वर्गों, सेना के जवान तथा आदिवासी समुदाय के लिए न्याय सुनिश्चित करने के लिए बड़े कदम उठाए हैं। जैसा अभी हमारे मुख्य न्यायाधीश महोदय ने बताया, करीब मेरा ख्याल है कि 1.5 महीने पहले व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरी उनकी चर्चा हुई थी। अभी कल ही 25 जुलाई को जो प्रस्ताव था हाईकोर्ट के माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीश अरुण पल्ली जी से सलाह के पश्चात जिला सैनिक बोर्ड के सचिव को डिस्ट्रिक्ट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के सदस्य के रूप में शामिल करने का फैसला किया गया। जम्मू कश्मीर लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी रूल्स के नियम 13 में संशोधन को भी मंजूरी दी गई। इससे डिस्ट्रिक्ट अथॉरिटी में सैनिकों का एक प्रतिनिधि होगा जो उन्हें कानूनी सहायता प्रदान करने के संबंध में ध्यान रखेगा। इसके अलावा कुछ दिन पहले इसी चर्चा का एक लाभ और हुआ। एक दिन बैठक करके हमने हमारे मुख्य सचिव, गृह सचिव, डीजीपी, सीनियर ऑफिसर्स, हम लोगों ने भी सोचा कि अगर न्यायमूर्ति अरुण पल्ली इस दिशा में जा रहे हैं तो प्रशासन क्या कर सकता है। तो एक सैनिक सहायता सेल जम्मू कश्मीर के सेक्रेटेरिएट में श्रीनगर और जम्मू के बनाने का फैसला हम लोगों ने किया और ये तय किया कि जो सैनिक या आर्म्स या सीएपीएफ के जो लोग जम्मू कश्मीर में काम कर रहे हैं, उनके जो प्रशासनिक कार्य हैं देश के विभिन्न हिस्सों में, देश के विभिन्न राज्यों से आए हैं, उनके लिए एक सेल गठित करने का फैसला किया है और अधिकारियों को चिन्हित भी कर लिया गया है और एक उसी में सेक्शन ये होगा जो जम्मू कश्मीर के निवासी हैं, देश के दूसरे हिस्सों में सेना में हैं या सीएपीएफ में हैं, उनके परिवार की समस्या को, चाहे वो पुलिस से संबंधित हो या सिविल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से, ये सेल उसको हल करने में पूरी मदद करेगी। एक डेडिकेटेड पोर्टल बनने का काम प्रारंभ हुआ है। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि ये सैनिक सहायता केंद्र एक डेडिकेटेड इंस्टीट्यूशनल मैकेनिज्म बन सके, इसकी हर कोशिश की जाएगी। तो इसके लिए भी मैं अरुण पल्ली साहब को विशेष रूप से बधाई देता हूं। इनकी इस पहल से हम लोगों के भी ध्यान में आया कि हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं। हम ये भी जानते हैं फॉरेस्ट राइट एक्ट जम्मू कश्मीर में 14 साल तक लागू नहीं था। 2019 के बाद ये संभव हो पाया। जल, जंगल और जमीन पर उनका अधिकार सुनिश्चित किया जा रहा है। 2019 के बदलाव के बाद उनका पॉलिटिकल एम्पावरमेंट भी हुआ। असेंबली में सीटें उनके लिए रिजर्व की गई। सालों से उपेक्षा और भेदभाव के शिकार लाखों आदिवासी, इतिहास में पहली बार भारत के संविधान से बराबरी का हक उन्हें मिला। आरक्षण सहित अन्य व्यवस्थाएं उन्हें मिली। हमारे यहाँ उपनिषद में कहा गया, धर्मो विश्वस्य जगतः प्रतिष्ठा लोके धर्मिष्ठ प्रज्ञा उपजीवंती। न्याय द्वारा एक व्यक्ति जो अत्यंत असहाय है, वह भी सबसे बलवान को परास्त कर सकता है। उसे आज मैं जम्मू कश्मीर में फलीभूत होते हुए देख रहा हूं। अपनी बात समाप्त करने से पहले मैं जरूर कहना चाहूंगा कि जम्मू कश्मीर तथा देश के सभी स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज से मेरा आग्रह होगा कि उन्हें सुनिश्चित करना चाहिए कि सेना के जवानों, आदिवासी समुदाय, वंचित और कमजोर वर्गों के पास हर संभव कानूनी सहायता समय से पहुंचे, ताकि उनका जीवन सुगम हो सके और उनके संविधान द्वारा प्रदत्त अधिकार सुरक्षित हो सके। मैं माननीय जस्टिस सूर्यकांत जी, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अब सभी माननीय न्यायमूर्ति, विभिन्न हाई कोर्टों के चीफ जस्टिस या बाहर से आए सभी न्यायमूर्तियों और अपने मित्र और भारत सरकार के कानून मंत्री आदरणीय अर्जुन राम मेघवाल जी का हृदय से जम्मू कश्मीर के प्रशासन की तरफ से स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं और मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि जो आयोजन हुआ है, निश्चित रूप से ये एक ऐतिहासिक आयोजन है। देश में आने वाले दिनों में इसका जो असर दिखेगा, मैं समझता हूं और निश्चित रूप से सुखकारी होगा। काल हरण कार्य राज्य साक्षी प्रभाषणे महानदोषो भवेत काला धर्म व्यावर्त लक्षण, अर्थात न्याय का फैसला विलंब से नहीं आना चाहिए, क्योंकि विलंब का परिणाम धर्म की पराजय होती है। मुझे विश्वास है कि इस महत्वपूर्ण कॉन्फ्रेंस में डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पर आ रही चुनौतियों के समाधान के साथ साथ आम नागरिकों को संविधान में अपने अधिकारों से परिचित कराने के लिए आवश्यक इंटरवेंशन पर चर्चा होगी। मैं एक बार पुनः सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सभी माननीय न्यायाधीश, माननीय मंत्री जी और अरुण पल्ली जी को विशेष रूप से बधाई देते हुए आप सबके प्रति हृदय से कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करते हुए अपनी बात पूरी करता हूं। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging and insightful address. I take the privilege of inviting a towering figure whose leadership continues to bridge the gaps between law and lives of citizens. I request Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India, for his special address.
नेशनल लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी का ये शानदार कार्यक्रम, सब्जेक्ट भी शानदार है और भाषण भी शानदार हो रहे हैं। अभी मनोज सिन्हा साहब कह रहे थे कि मैं विज्ञापन के तौर पर आया हूं। मुझे लगता है कि भाषण तो इनका बहुत शानदार हुआ है, जोरदार ताली बजा के स्वागत कर सकते हैं। आज के इस प्रोग्राम में जस्टिस सूर्यकांत जी, जज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया, और चेयरमैन नालसा, श्री मनोज सिन्हा जी, लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, जस्टिस अरुण पल्ली जी, चीफ जस्टिस जम्मू एंड कश्मीर हाई कोर्ट, श्री उमर अब्दुल्ला जी, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, जस्टिस सिंधु शर्मा जी एंड जस्टिस संजीव कुमार जी, लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल प्रतीक शर्मा जी, हमारे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के माननीय तीनों जस्टिस जिन्होंने अपनी बात भी रखी यहाँ, जस्टिस पीएस नरसिम्हा जी, जस्टिस राजेश बिंदल जी, जस्टिस एन कोटेश्वर सिंह जी, हमारे विभिन्न हाई कोर्ट्स के चीफ जस्टिस, उन्होंने भी अपनी बात इस प्रोग्राम में रखी। एक प्रोग्राम संवाद जैसा लग रहा था मुझे। हमारे जस्टिस डी के उपाध्याय जी, चीफ जस्टिस दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट, जस्टिस अरुण बंसाली जी, चीफ जस्टिस इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट, जस्टिस शील नागू जी, चीफ जस्टिस पंजाब एंड हरियाणा हाई कोर्ट, जस्टिस जी नरेंद्र जी, चीफ जस्टिस उत्तराखंड हाई कोर्ट, जस्टिस गुरमीत जी सांधवालिया जी, चीफ जस्टिस हिमाचल प्रदेश, अदर जजेस फ्रॉम वेरियस हाई कोर्ट्स, और हमारे जावेद राणा जी, मिनिस्टर जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, श्री मियां अल्ताफ जी, एमपी साहब, हमारे सेना के ऑफिसर्स, जवान, प्रशासन के अधिकारी, कर्मचारी, ऑफिस बियरर्स ऑफ बार एसोसिएशन, लॉ ऑफिसर्स ऑफ द जम्मू कश्मीर एंड यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया, हमारे हसनैन मसूदी जी जो मेरे साथ लोकसभा में रहे, एमपी साहब, एक्स एमपी साहब, और प्रेस के सभी साथीगण। अब मैं शुरू करूंगा। मेरे भाषण में 3-4 चीजें होगी। आपको लगेगा कि भाई ये भोजन के पहले आगे भोजन इंतजार कर रहा, लंच है ना शायद, है ना? तो भोजन के और बीच में होता बड़ा मुश्किल है, लेकिन सबसे पहले मैं कारगिल दिवस पर ऐसे आयोजन के लिए मैं बहुत बहुत आयोजकों को बधाई देता हूं। आप भी जोरदार ताली बजा के उनका स्वागत कर सकते। और मुझे लगता है कि ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बाद कोई ऐसा कार्यक्रम पहली बार ही हो रहा होगा। ऐसा ही है क्या? इसके लिए भी ताली बजा सो। इतना जोर से बजा रहे हो तो मुझे कोटेश्वर सिंह जी कह रहे थे अभी कि कुछ गा के भी सुनाना है, तो फिर मुझे कुछ गा के भी सुनाना पड़ेगा। सुनाऊं क्या गा के? ये हमारे, मैं भारत पाकिस्तान सीमा के नजदीक का आदमी हूं। बीकानेर मेरा क्षेत्र भारत पाकिस्तान सीमा के नजदीक रहता है। आपके यहां भी ये ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के समय आपने सबने हमारी सुरक्षा करी, भारत को भी सुरक्षित रखा। वहां भी एक गीत किसी ने लिखा होगा, लेकिन गुनगुनाते हैं लोग। उसमें एक उर्दू का शब्द भी है सीएम साहब, और अच्छा गुनगुनाते हैं। क्या? ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के जरिए सेना ने मान बढ़ाया है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के जरिए सेना ने मान बढ़ाया है। अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है क्या? सेना ने मान बढ़ाया है, सेना ने मान बढ़ाया है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के जरिए सेना ने मान बढ़ाया। स्वागत करो। तो कोटेश्वर सिंह जी, आपका काम तो हो गया। अब मैं एक कहानी कहूंगा जिससे आपको मनोज सिन्हा साहब की
बात आपको याद आएगी। एक हमारे इस देश में एक महान चिंतनशील व्यक्ति हुए थे, वो कलकत्ता के, उनका नाम था ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर, बहुत विद्वान थे। अब जब बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर जी 25 नवंबर 1949 को अपना संविधान सौंपने से पहले पहला भाषण दे रहे थे संविधान सभा में, तब वो इसी चीज का जिक्र कर रहे थे कि 26 जनवरी 1950 को हमें राजनीतिक समानता तो मिल जाएगी, जिसको उन्होंने पॉलिटिकल इक्वलिटी की बात की, लेकिन हमें सामाजिक और आर्थिक समानता कब मिलेगी? हमारे समाज में बंधुता का भाव कब बढ़ेगा? इसका जिक्र मनोज सिन्हा साहब अभी कर रहे थे, लेकिन मैं ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर की एक कहानी से आपको समझाने की कोशिश करूंगा। ये मैंने कहानी हमारे चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया न्यायमूर्ति B.R. गवई साहब के सामने भी कही थी, तो उन्होंने कहा ये कहानी बहुत अच्छी है, और उनके ही निर्देश पे ये कहानी यहां भी दोहरा रहा हूं। दोहरा दूं क्या? ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर एक महान दार्शनिक होते थे। एक बार घूमने गए, लॉन में घूम के आए, कलकत्ता का लॉन था, बड़ा लॉन, घूम के आए तो लॉन के गेट पे एक व्यक्ति उनको अचेत मिला। उन्होंने हाथ लगाया, देखा बुखार है और अचेत भी है। उनके पास जो भी साधन था, उस साधन पे उसको दूसरे अपने कुछ साथियों को बुलाया कि इसको इस मेरे साधन में रखो और अपने घर ले आए। वो अचेत था। 3-4 दिन बाद के उनके बाद होश आया। उन्होंने खुद ने भी लिखा है इसमें, अपने कुछ साहित्य में उन्होंने लिखा है। होश आया तो ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर, जैसे आज ये नालसा की कॉन्फ्रेंस है, ऐसे कलकत्ता में कोई कॉन्फ्रेंस थी, उसमें भाषण देने गए भी थे ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर। घर आए तो घर में बवाल मच गया। उन्होंने कहा आप किसको लेके आ गए? आप पूछते भी नहीं हो। तो उन्होंने कहा किसको पूछना, क्या ये तो अचेत था। जब मैंने इसके हाथ लगाया बुखार था। मेरी ड्यूटी नहीं है क्या कि जिसको बुखार उसका बुखार ठीक करूं? ये मनुष्य नहीं है क्या? क्या नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, ये श्रीपुर समाज का आदमी है जिसको आप घर ले आए, जिसका जिक्र अभी मनोज सिन्हा साहब वाल्मीकि समाज के लिए ये 370 समाप्त हुई, उसके बाद ही मेरे ख्याल में वाल्मीकि समाज के पहले लोग 370 से धारा 370 के समय क्या करते थे, अगर वो सफाई कर्मी है तो उसका लड़का सफाई कर्मी रहेगा। जैसे ही 370 समाप्त हुई, अब उसका लड़का जम्मू कश्मीर में एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑफिसर भी बन सकता है। ये फर्क नजर आ रहा है वाल्मीकि समाज में। तो ऐसा ही उन्होंने कहा तो वाल्मीकि समाज का आदमी है, किसको उठा रहे आप? अब उस समय का वातावरण था, देश आजाद भी नहीं हुआ था उस समय। तो वहां जो ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर बोलते हैं वो इतिहास में आज भी अमर है। वो कहते हैं ये मेरा भाई है। तो उन्होंने कहा कैसे भाई हुआ? आप ब्राह्मण समाज के आदमी, वहां काफी लोग इकट्ठे हो गए, ये वाल्मीकि समाज का आदमी, आपका भाई कैसे हुआ? तो ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर कहते हैं ये बार की सफाई करता है और जो आपके मन में मैल पड़ा है उसकी सफाई ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर करता है, इसलिए हम दोनों सफाई कर्मी हुए। ताली तो जोर से बजा दीजिए ना, बजानी है तो। क्या शानदार बात ईश्वर चंद्र विद्यासागर जी ने कही थी। इसलिए हमारे B.R. गवई साहब ने मुझे कहा इस कहानी को भी कहना है, तो दूसरा निर्देश मान रहा हूं। तीसरा विषय सूर्यकांत जी ने कहा, जज साहब ने अभी बैठे बैठे न्यायमूर्ति जी ने कहा कि आप कुछ इसके बारे में बताएंगे कि आपका अनुभव क्या है। मैं राजस्थान में IAS ऑफिसर रहा और जब मैं एक जगह कलेक्टर था तो एक मेरी रेवेन्यू कोर्ट थी, उसमें एक आर्मी का आदमी आया। उसने कहा मुझे मेरी सुनवाई पहले कर लो। मैंने कहा झगड़ा क्या है? कि मेरा झगड़ा है खेत का। मैंने कहा खेत में क्या भाई? कि मेरे ही भाई कहते हैं कि ये रास्ता खेत में जाने का आपका नहीं है और मुझे ड्यूटी पे जाना है, शायद उसको जबलपुर जाना था। और वहां से ट्रेन का समय था। हमारे स्टाफ ने कहा साहब ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है, इसको हम पहले कैसे सुन सकते हैं, और भी लोग बैठे हैं। तो मैं इस माध्यम से जस्टिस सूर्यकांत साहब आपको कहना चाहता हूं कि हम कोई ऐसा आज कोई एक डिसीजन ले सकते हैं क्या कि अगर कोई आर्मी का आदमी अपने ड्यूटी के समय छुट्टी पे गांव में आए और उसका कोई कोर्ट केस हो, रेवेन्यू का भी हो सकता है, कोर्ट का भी हो सकता है, उसके लिए हम कोई एक ऐसा प्रबंध कर सकते हैं क्या जिससे सबसे पहले उसको सुनाई हो जाए, चाहे रेवेन्यू का कोर्ट हो चाहे आपका कोर्ट हो, तो उसको वो ट्रेन नहीं चूक जाए उसको। मैं तो संवेदनशील था तो मैंने कहा भी पहले उसको सुन लो, लेकिन स्टाफ हमारा नाराज हुआ। मैंने कहा भी तुम्हारा ये खेत का झगड़ा क्या से आज, तो मैंने सेटल भी किया, उसके बाद अभी तक वो मेरे संपर्क में है। तो मुझे लगता है कि जो हमारी सीएससी है, कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर, इसमें भी एक ऐसी सीएससी बन सकती है जो आर्मी के लोग हैं उनके बारे में लीगल सर्विस कैसे मिलेगी, न्याय बंधु प्रणाली, टेली लॉ क्या है, कोई जानकारी दे। इस तरह की कोई सीएससी भी डेडिकेटेड हो सकती है, हो सकता है ऐसा मुझे लगता है। और मैं जिला प्रशासन से भी बात करूंगा, सरकार में भी बात करूंगा कि क्या रेवेन्यू में, क्योंकि उनके अधिकतर झगड़े खेत का ही होता है, मैंने देखा है मेरे सामने तो जो आए अधिकतर खेत के, या गांव में वो लेट गया तो उसकी घर के जमीन के भाई अलग अलग हो गए, तो बोला ये प्रॉपर्टी मेरी नहीं है, ये प्रॉपर्टी तेरी है, ये तेरी नहीं है मेरी है, उसके झगड़े हैं। तो उसके लिए कोई रेवेन्यू कोर्ट भी जो आर्मी के लोगों को, आर्मी के रिटायर्ड लोगों को सुने, ऐसा कोई प्रबंध हो जाए तो आज के इस कॉन्फ्रेंस का बहुत शानदार एक रिजल्ट निकल सकता है। और दूसरा मैंने देखा है कि वो जब जाता है तो वो, मैं एक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन में भी काम करता था, तो मैंने देखा वो लोन ले लेता है बैंक से। कई बार आर्मी का रिटायर्ड आदमी, कई बार बैंक में नौकरी करनी होती है, कहीं करनी होती है, बंदूक चाहिए, कोई लोन ले लेता है। लोन कई बार समय पे भरा नहीं जाता है तो उसके बैंक के लोग, अगर उसने प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशन से ले लिया तो ब्याज ज्यादा, ये ऐसी समस्याओं से वो घिरता भी जाता है और फेस भी करता है। तो अगर हम लंच के बाद इनसे संवाद करके इनसे कुछ समस्याएं ले लेंगे, जैसे 138 का मामला आपने बताया कि चेक बाउंस का मामला, वो प्राइवेट आदमी क्या करता है कि मैं लोन लेना है ना, तुम ये चेक पे एडवांस में साइन कर दो, कई बार वो नहीं हो पाता है, बोला पैसा नहीं दे रहे, साइन कर दी। तो ऐसे कुछ विषयों को लेकर के अगर हम जमीन और घर के खेत का और लोन जो ये लेते हैं उसके बारे में कोई अगर मैकेनिज्म बना देंगे, एडीआर जैसा जिक्र हमारे सीएम साहब करते थे, ऐसा कुछ कर देंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस बहुत शानदार कॉन्फ्रेंस और सफल कॉन्फ्रेंस हो जाएगी, ऐसा मैं मानता हूं। दूसरा एक विषय, आदिवासी समाज के लोग भी यहां बैठे होंगे, एक आपका मेरे ख्याल में प्रेरणा गीत है या क्या है, मुझे आप बताएंगे। हक हमारा भी तो है, ये क्या है, प्रेरणा गीत है क्या, या देह गीत है? ये नालसा का गीत है। हमारे न्यायमूर्ति सूर्यकांत साहब जी कह रहे हैं कि नालसा का गीत है और बहुत शानदार गीत है साहब। अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, इंसाफ के इस आंसिया तक हक हमारा भी तो है, एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है। तो आदिवासी समाज का भी तो हक है या नहीं है, बोलो? इस प्रेरणा गीत को भी हम अगर आज शुरू होते समय गाते तो ठीक था, आगे से भी इसको गाया जा सकता है। राजेश मिंदल साहब, ठीक है ना ऐसा विषय? वो शाम को देखे, आपके यहाँ डिनर है ना, या नहीं है ना? तो उस समय देखेंगे, डिनर के समय देखेंगे। आज तो मैं पनियारी जानता हूं क्या होता है? हमारे राजस्थान में, मारवाड़ी में एक पनियारी होती है। पनियारी क्या करती है, सिर पे घड़ा और कुएं से पानी लाती है, उसको हमारे कबीर ने भी पनियारी कहा। बुल्ले साहब बहुत बड़े सूफी संत हुए हैं, उन्होंने भी पनियारी शब्द से उन्होंने एक भजन भी लिखा है। तो वो पनियारी क्या करती है, उसके सिर पे घड़ा है, लेकिन वो बात सबसे करती है, तेरे घर में क्या हुआ, उसका क्या हुआ, लेकिन ध्यान रखती है कि घड़ा गिर नहीं जाए। इसलिए मनोज सिन्हा साहब मुझे कुछ भी कहेंगे, लेकिन ध्यान में आज नालसा का ही रखूंगा। हाँ, मैं गीतकार भी हूं, संगीतकार भी हूं, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है। इसलिए शाम को अपन उसका आनंद ले सकते हैं क्या, या नहीं लेना है? ले सकते हैं। शाम को भजन करना है, क्या करना बताओ? मेरे तो भजन का भी बड़ा विषय रहता है। और मैंने अभी कहीं से आ रहे थे तो मैंने जस्टिस सूर्यकांत जी को भी सुनाया था। वो ही भजन अपन इनके रात को कर लेंगे अपन। आपको तो आपको बहुत अच्छा लगा था शायद, बहुत अच्छा लगा था। ऐसा भजन भी हो तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। अब मैं समाप्त करूंगा क्योंकि हमारे चेयरमैन साहब जो नालसा के हैं, एग्जीक्यूटिव चेयरमैन साहब, उनको भी बोलना है। लेकिन एक लास्ट में ये मेरी कविता है जो मैंने अभी प्लेन में लिखी। सलामत रहे हमारा संविधान। रहना ही चाहिए, नहीं रहना चाहिए क्या? सलामत रहे हमारा संविधान, न्याय, स्वतंत्रता और समानता इसका है आधार। बढ़े बंधुता नागरिकों में, शासन का यही हो सार। सलामत रहे हमारा संविधान, सलामत रहे हमारा संविधान। जय हिंद, जय भारत। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for your words that reflect the collective commitment to justice, which is inclusive and forward-looking. We especially thank you for that singing rendition, which was more than extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, I may share at this stage that even as we gather here at SKICC Srinagar, the proceedings of this conference are being streamed across 320 locations virtually, from the icy heights of Siachen to the southernmost tip of India, connecting more than 5,000 participants. Honorable dignitaries and esteemed guests, as we reaffirm the constitutional vision of justice for our defense personnel and tribal communities, it is imperative to shine a light on the key initiatives shaped by the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh that aim to restructure access to justice, which shall gain institutional momentum with their formal inauguration today. Let us walk you through these transformative steps. The High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh has utilized the power of technology in service of access to justice by developing the Defense Personnel Case Management System for the serving and retired defense personnel. For explaining the functionality of the application developed by the IT team of the High Court of J&K and Ladakh, we have an audio-visual display. May I humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Judge Supreme Court of India and Executive Chairman Nalsa, and Honorable Mr. Justice Arun Palli, Chief Justice of High Court of J&K and Patron-in-Chief J&K and Ladakh Legal Services Authorities, to kindly e-launch the web application.
They stand at the front lines. They are the guardians of peace. They are silent protectors in uniform. Acknowledging their service difficulties, the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh is rolling out an initiative. Introducing DPCMS, the Defense Personnel Case Management System, a dedicated digital bridge between justice and the brave. Visit the website of J&K and Ladakh High Court. Look for the DPCMS icon. Click. Enter. You're in. After the sign-up page interface, two paths appear: defense and paramilitary. Choose your badge. Fill in the details. You have created your account, your legal command center. Now your dashboard. Simple, secure, yours. Track your case, hearing dates, court orders, live updates. Can't be in court? No problem. Request a VC link. Attend hearings from your current post. The court comes to you. Need legal help? Apply for legal aid via Nalsa. Just a few clicks. Support whenever you need it. Something else comes to your mind, we are here to help. Even from a faraway outpost. Track your history, enquiries, VC hearings. Every detail is saved, no delays. DPCMS, empowering the sentinels of peace. Timely, transparent, accessible. Justice now walks with those who march for us. We are here to help, because those who protect us deserve protection, too. Jai Hind.
Dignitaries and also the IT team for sharing those details.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to witness a deeply symbolic and meaningful moment as a mark of honor and empowerment of the Veer Naris and ex-servicemen, in profound recognition of their strength, resilience, and commitment to the service of the nation. These Veer Naris and ex-servicemen are being engaged as paralegal volunteers from across the districts of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh by the legal services authorities of both the union territories, not only as a measure of outreach, but also as a testament of their inclusion in the legal services framework. I humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant to please hand over the certificates of engagement to the Veer Naris and ex-servicemen. I humbly request Honorable dignitaries on the dais to please join in the initiative. The names of the Veer Naris and ex-servicemen shall be called who are requested to come forward and receive their engagement letters. I request Veer Nari Shrimati Anjana Devi to receive her engagement letter. Veer Nari Shrimati Poonam Kumari. Veer Nari Shrimati Ruchi Sharma. Veer Nari Shrimati Anjana Devi, followed by Veer Nari Shrimati Poonam Kumari. Next is Veer Nari Shrimati Ruchi Sharma. Veer Nari Shrimati Poonam Kumari. Veer Nari Shrimati Ruchi Sharma. Veer Nari Shrimati Indu Bala. Veer Nari Shrimati Harmeet Kaur. Veer Nari Shrimati Rukhsana Kausar. Veer Nari Shrimati Anupa Devi. Veer Nari Shrimati Shilpa. Veer Nari Shrimati Shilpa. Veer Nari Shrimati Ifroza Begum. Veer Nari Shrimati Sumit Kawar. Havaldar Shri Ashok Kumar, ex-serviceman. Ex-serviceman Shri Ejaz Ahmad Ganai. Ex-serviceman Shri Peer Abdul Qadir. Veer Nari Musmati Mamtaza Majid. वीर नारी मुस्मात मुमताजा मजीद, वीर नारी मुस्मात रूबी बानू, वीर नारी मुस्मात तौहीदा अख्तर, मीर मुस्मातिम तौहीदा अख्तर. Group Captain Dr. Farooq Fareed Nabi will receive engagement letter on behalf of Sepoy Shri Shahzad Ahmad. Veer Nari Musmat Mohina Begum, ex-serviceman Veer Nari Musmat Mohina Begum is next. Ex-serviceman Havaldar Shri Mehrajuddin Bhatt, ex-serviceman Havaldar Shri Nazir Ahmad Bhatt, ex-serviceman Havaldar Shri Nazir Ahmad Bhatt, Veer Nari Musmat Shabnam Begum, Subedar. Okay, thank you very much. With the formal handing over of the engagement letters, we are igniting a collective resolve to reach the last mile. This initiative reflects a powerful vision that those who know the ground best must lead the way to justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, as has already been announced by Honorable the Chief Justice, the statutory order bearing number 199 of 2025 has been officially notified by the Government of Jammu and Kashmir, amending Rule 13 of the Jammu and Kashmir Legal Services Authorities Rule. Pursuant to this amendment, legal aid care and support centers have been established at the Zilla Sainik boards of both the union territories and at all Rajya Sainik boards across the country. I now humbly request Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Executive Chairman Nalsa, Shri Manoj Sinha, Lieutenant Governor Union Territory of J&K, and Shri Umar Abdullah, Chief Minister of J&K, to please inaugurate these legal aid care and support centers.
For tribal artisans is ready for its unveiling. In addition, a dedicated kiosk has been established at Leh Airport to showcase and promote these tribal products. where the logo will be prominently featured. I request Honorable Shri Justice Surya Kant and other dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the honor of unveiling the logo. I also request Honorable Shri Justice Surya Kant and Honorable Srimati Justice Sindhu Sharma to inaugurate the kiosk installed at Leh Airport.
Collective kiosk is now open at the Kushok Bakula Rinpoche Airport, Leh, where every product is a journey. It brings together thousands of self-help group women from across the rugged valleys and high-altitude villages of Ladakh under Ladakh Rural Livelihood Mission. Every sale from this kiosk supports a woman, a family, and a village. You will discover the rich traditions of Ladakh through handcrafted treasures, from backstrap weaving, a traditional method where women weave outdoors using a loom tied to their waist, to wood carvings with intricate patterns and spiritual motifs. Explore carvings that find their way onto imperishable stones and metals, brought to life by skilled artisans through functional and decorative pieces. Admire a slow and ancient tradition of pottery, where women were at the fore of a revival story of this thriving craft. Adding to this alluring list are Thangka paintings, an art practiced for years to master the fine lines carrying deep cultural meaning. And in this assortment, you will discover a curated range of GI-tagged local delicacies to wellness products, all at this kiosk where you pick a product, share a story, and be vocal for local.
Product lies a story, a tradition, and the craftsmanship of a proud community. As recently as in the month of June of this year, National Legal Services Authority launched its Samvad, Strengthening Access to Justice for Marginalized, Vulnerable Adivasis and Denotified Nomadic Tribes Scheme 2025, which mandates the creation and constitution of legal services special units for tribal communities called as Samvad units at district level. In prompt compliance to the scheme, 22 Samvad units have been established across 20 DLSAs of J&K and 2 DLSAs of Ladakh. The newly created Samvad units are ready for their rollout, and I request Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Executive Chairman Nalsa, and Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Kumar, Executive Chairman J&K Legal Services Authority, to digitally roll out the Samvad units for their functioning.
many tribal communities, including scheduled tribes, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, and nomadic and denotified tribes, continue to face significant barriers in accessing justice due to remoteness, lack of awareness, language differences, and historical neglect. Recognizing these challenges and commending the important work of the government and other institutions, the National Legal Services Authority has launched Samvad scheme. The scheme is strengthening access to justice for marginalized, vulnerable Adivasis and denotified nomadic tribes. Implementing the scheme, the J&K and Ladakh Legal Services Authorities have constituted Samvad units across all districts of the Union territories of J&K and Ladakh. The idea is that our tribal brothers and sisters should not be left behind when it comes to justice.
Healthcare contribute productively to uphold the constitutional right of health of the tribal populace. The Ladakh Legal Services Authority has prepared a short video clip detailing the initiative. I humbly request Honorable Shri Justice Surya Kant, Honorable Srimati Justice Sindhu Sharma, and Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma to please flag off the program virtually, and I request the IT team to please stream the clip.
The District Legal Services Authority, Kargil, under the aegis of the Ladakh Legal Services Authority, in collaboration with the District Health Society, Kargil, and the Army Medical Corps, is organizing a special medical camp. 3 mobile medical units, also called hospitals on wheels, have been deputed for the medical. These units, equipped with X-ray machines, laboratories, and dental sections, will be accompanied by ambulances of the Army and mobile legal aid clinics. A team of doctors from the District Health Society, Kargil, and the Army Medical Corps will make tedious journeys to the remotest villages of Pakachik and Rangoon at an altitude of almost 12,000 feet. Both these villages lack proper medical facilities, and this medical camp will provide them with free, quality medical services and drugs. Through such initiatives, the Ladakh Legal Services Authority continues to promote not only legal awareness, but also holistic community welfare, ensuring every citizen has access to the fundamental right to health.
Those initiatives certainly leave us with a purpose. I thank the IT team for their support throughout the inauguration of the initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly could not have asked for more in terms of good wishes for the attainment of the objective of this conference. We are profoundly fortunate and extremely honored to receive a blissful message from His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, a global symbol of peace and wisdom for our guidance. I request the IT team to please display the message in the PDF format. For the facility of reading, I would be reading the last 3 paragraphs. From ancient times, India has cherished a rich and sophisticated philosophy of ahimsa and karuna that has set the context in which tolerance and pluralism have also flourished. Today, India is the world's largest democracy and has an active and independent judiciary, ensuring that citizens have a path to seek justice. The challenge is to see that each and every citizen, irrespective of where they reside, can avail themselves of this opportunity when necessary. Democracy is a means to bridge the gaps because it is rooted in a sense of concern for others and a respect for their wishes and views. Where there is democracy, there is a greater opportunity for the citizens of the country to express their basic human qualities. And where these basic human qualities prevail, there is also a greater scope for strengthening democracy. Therefore, I urge everyone involved in providing justice to be compassionate in pursuit of your goals. As in many other countries, I feel the gap between the rich and the poor, as well as the disparity between the privileged and the not so privileged, still needs to be addressed. The principle of dignity and justice for all embodied in the Indian Constitution is in fact a profound expression of compassion. With my prayers and good wishes, signed by His Holiness. We're extremely thankful to His Holiness the Dalai Lama to send in his blessings for this conference. It is now my honor and privilege to request Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and Executive Chairman, National Legal Services Authority, for the presidential address.
My 3 esteemed colleagues from the Supreme Court of India, Justice P.S. Narasimha, Justice Rajesh Bindal, Justice M. Koteshwar Singh, are with us on this occasion. Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal ji, Honorable Minister of State for Law and Justice, Shri Manoj Sinha ji, Honorable Lieutenant Governor, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Justice Arun Palli, Honorable Chief Justice High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, Shri Omar Abdullah ji, Honorable Chief Minister, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Honorable the Chief Justices of High Courts of Delhi, Punjab and Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Allahabad and Uttarakhand, the executive chairpersons of the state legal service authorities and High Court legal service committees of the participating states on and off the dais, honorable judges of the Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh High Court, as well as the honorable judges from the participating states, honorable former Chief Justices and judges of the J&K High Court who have graced this occasion, Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, General Officer Commander-in-Chief of the Northern Command, Lieutenant General Prashant Srivastava, and various other very distinguished senior officers of the Indian Army and paramilitary forces. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion and to be with us on this occasion. Shri Javed Rana, Honorable Minister, Shri Mia Altaf, Honorable Member of the Parliament, Director and other officers of the Nalsa, distinguished members of the Srinagar Bar Association who are also present here, members of the Defense Forces and the paramilitary forces, members of the tribal community, distinguished members of the media, especially those who have traveled all the way to have the first view and record these proceedings. My dear paralegal volunteers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, आप सभी को मेरा बहुत बहुत नमस्कार। मैं जानता हूं कि 2-2.5 घंटे से कार्यक्रम चल रहा है और ज्यादा लंबा भाषण इसमें शायद उचित नहीं रहेगा। थोड़ी बहुत बातें आज जो अभी हम नालसा की तरफ से वीर परिवार सहायता योजना 2025 जिसको अभी उद्घाटन कर हम पूरे देश में लागू करने जा रहे हैं, उसकी थोड़ी सी भूमिका, उसके बनाने के पीछे उद्देश्य और कश्मीर को ही क्यों हमने इसके लिए चुना, ये कुछ अपनी भावनात्मक बातें आपसे शेयर करना चाहता हूं। 3 बड़े विद्वान स्पीकर्स ने बहुत ही प्रेरित भाषा में आपके सामने बात रखी। ऑनरेबल चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब, ऑनरेबल लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब, ऑनरेबल लॉ मिनिस्टर साहब। लॉ मिनिस्टर साहब तो हमेशा गीत संगीत कविता के साथ इतना इनपुट दे देते हैं कि उसके बाद बोलना बड़ा कठिन हो जाता है। चीफ जस्टिस अरुण पल्ली साहब ने स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी के पैटर्न चीफ के अपनी भूमिका को निभाते हुए जब मुझसे बात की और इस बात का एहसास दिलाया कि हमें हमारी डिफेंस फोर्सेस के लिए, पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के लिए लीगल एड, लीगल असिस्टेंस, लीगल एडवाइस और उनके कम से कम घर परिवार में जो टेंशन पैदा हो जाती है और ये लोग दूर दराज के क्षेत्र में जो पोस्टेड होते हैं, तो कम से कम देश की जुडिशरी के जो सहयोगी प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, जिसमें स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज है, नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी है, या डिस्ट्रिक्ट और तालुका लेवल पर भी हमारी जो लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज हैं, वो आपके साथ आए, आपके दुख और दर्द को, आपके परिवार की उस समस्या को समझें और उस समस्या के समाधान के लिए कानून की उन सीमाओं में रह करके हम आपकी सहायता करें, ताकि आप निश्चिंत रूप से, निश्चित भाव से देश की सीमाओं की रक्षा कर सकें। ऐसा विचार उन्होंने हमें भेजा और नालसा में हमने इस पर डिस्कशन शुरू किया। पर ये जब प्रपोजल आया, जब ये विचार हमारे पास आया, उससे पहले मैं एक अपना पर्सनल, जो मेरा सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज के नाते एक्सपीरियंस हुआ, वो मैं आपके साथ जरूर शेयर करना चाहूंगा। वो केस आया, मैंने डिसाइड कर चुका हूं, मेरा जजमेंट आ चुका है, तो इसलिए हम आमतौर पर अपने जजमेंट्स के बारे में बात नहीं करते, लेकिन ये ओकेजन ऐसा है कि मैं 2 मिनट आपसे बात करूंगा। मुद्दा ये था कि दिल्ली में सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने करोड़ों रुपए लगा करके एक मल्टीप्लिसिटी हॉस्पिटल बनाया पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के मेडिकल असिस्टेंस के लिए, उनके परिवारों के लिए, और उस हॉस्पिटल के बारे में मुझे बताया गया कि वो इतना ही बड़ा है जैसे एम्स या बड़े बड़े हॉस्पिटल्स कंट्री में बने हैं। इट्स अ वेरी प्रेस्टिजियस मल्टीप्लिसिटी हॉस्पिटल which the central government had constructed. Some dispute arose with regard to the approach road. रोड की विड्थ, उसकी चौड़ाई कितनी होनी चाहिए, और उस रोड की चौड़ाई को बड़ा करने के लिए कुछ पेड़ कटने की बात आई। तो कुछ अफसरों के जिम्मेवारी में थोड़ी सी गलतियां हुई और जो प्रायर परमिशंस लेनी होती हैं उसमें वो कहीं चूक हुए, और उस चूक होने की वजह से कुछ मुकदमे कोर्ट में शुरू हो गए। अब ये कोर्ट में कई बार धर्म संकट होता है। हम इसके लिए एक कानून में, आप एनवायरमेंट लॉ की जब बात करते हैं तो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट की हम बात करते हैं कि प्रगति हो, पर प्रगति के साथ प्रकृति का भी मान सम्मान हो, प्रकृति के बारे में भी हम उतने ही संवेदनशील रहें। तो ये प्रगति और प्रकृति के विवाद और संवाद और इस लड़ाई में सबसे बड़ा जो अहम रोल है वो जुडिशरी पर आ जाता है। और उस वक्त बड़ी दुविधाजनक एक स्थिति होती है। तो मैंने, मुकदमा तो है तो इसलिए फैसला करना है, मैंने उसका फैसला किया, मैंने वो रोड भी बनवाया, मैंने पेड़ भी लगवाए, जिन लोगों ने गलती की थी उन पर जुर्माना भी लगाया। पर मैं जब वो जजमेंट लिखा रहा था तो मैं थोड़ा सा भावुक हुआ, और मेरी वो भावुकता जब मैं जजमेंट को कोर्ट में प्रोनाउंस किया तो उस वक्त भी झलकी। तो मुझे एक बहुत बड़े इंटरनेशनल चैनल के किसी रिपोर्टर का एक मैसेज आया कि जज साहब, जब आपने जजमेंट प्रोनाउंस किया तो मेरी आंखों में आंसू आ गए। मैंने उसमें पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के उन परिवारों का जिक्र किया कि वो लोग दूर दराज में, वो बुमला पास पर बैठे हैं, राजस्थान के रेगिस्तान में बैठे हैं, गुजरात के कच्छ में बैठे हैं, केरल की सीमाओं पर बैठे हैं, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में, मणिपुर में, मिजोरम में बैठे हैं। उनके घरों में बुजुर्ग हैं, उनके स्कूल गोइंग बच्चे हैं, उनकी पत्नियां होम मेकर हैं। कितनी जिम्मेवारियां हम उनके ऊपर डालना चाहेंगे? क्या हम उनको मेडिकल असिस्टेंस जो सरकार दे रही है, उस मेडिकल असिस्टेंस की जो अच्छी क्वालिटी उनको मिलनी चाहिए, उसके मिलने में भी सहयोग नहीं दे सकते? तो ये सारी बातों का जिक्र कर मैंने कानून के दायरे में उस स्थिति को उस वक्त निकाला। तब मुझे ये प्रपोजल आई तो मुझे लगा कि जुडिशरी के प्लेटफॉर्म से मेडिकल सुविधाएं देना ये तो ठीक है, पर ये कानूनी सुविधाएं देने की बात क्यों नहीं अभी तक आई? तो इस परिपेक्ष में, इस भूमिका में, इस बैकग्राउंड में हमने निर्णय लिया कि ये स्कीम को बनाया जाए। आप किन कठिनाइयों में देश की रक्षा करते हैं, सीमाओं पर रहकर, अकेले सीमाओं पर रहकर के नहीं, पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के लोग, सीआईएसएफ है, एनडीआरएफ है, आप लोग देश के अंदर भी, अंदर के दुश्मनों से भी आपको लड़ना पड़ता है, बाहर के दुश्मनों से भी आपको लड़ना पड़ता है। देश में अगर प्रकृति का कोई प्रकोप हो जाए तो उसकी लड़ाई भी आपको लड़नी पड़ती है। देश में कहीं पर कोई ऐसा घटना घट जाए जहां पर एकदम किसी अर्जेंट एक्शन की जरूरत है, वहां पर भी आपको जाना पड़ता है। तो आपसे हम ये सब काम कराएं, या मैंने एक वर्ड शब्द यूज किया, 3 पे यूज किए उसमें मैंने हिंदी के, परिवार में। आपके ऊपर कोई परिवार का मुकदमा भी डल सकता है, आपका अपना भाई, जैसे कि बताया गया, आपका कोई, आपकी बहन, आपका भाई, आपका कोई और परिवार का सदस्य आप पर कोई मुकदमा डाल सकता है। लैंड के पार्टीशन का हो सकता है, विल का हो सकता है, पानी के शेयर का हो सकता है, कोई भी सिविल डिस्प्यूट, कोई भी हमारे रूरल एरिया में जो लिटिगेशन होती है, ऐसी कोई लिटिगेशन हो सकती है, एक परिवार की है। आपका पड़ोस की हो सकती है, आपका पड़ोसी वो कहता है कि जी आपने रास्ता रोक दिया, आपकी दीवार यहाँ पे होगी, आपका ये प्लॉट है ही नहीं, इस प्लॉट का तो साइज गलत है, वो भी आप पर मुकदमा डाल सकता है। और परिवार और पड़ोसी नहीं, आप पर कोई पराया भी मुकदमा डाल सकता है। ऐसे भी लोग हैं जो स्ट्रेंजर्स हैं, जिनका आपसे कोई लेना देना नहीं है, वो भी आप पर कई बार मुकदमे डाल देते हैं। तो इस किस्म की कोई भी अगर आपके ऊपर एक लीगल डिफिकल्टी आपकी लाइफ में आ जाती है, कोई आपके ऊपर मुकदमा डाल देता है। कई बार ऐसा भी होता है कि आप जब नहीं हैं, आप गांव में, अपने शहर में नहीं जा पाते, आपकी ड्यूटी ऐसी है, उस वक्त कोई पीछे से आपके प्लॉट पर कब्जा कर सकता है, आपके घर पर कोई बोल सकता है कि मैं तो किराएदार हूं इस घर में, आपका अनऑथराइज कोई एनक्रोचमेंट कर सकता है, आपके कोई बच्चों की शिक्षा में कोई डिफिकल्टीज ला सकता है, आपके बुजुर्ग पेरेंट्स को कोई तंग कर सकता है। अगर उस वक्त आपको भी न्याय लेना हो तो दोनों ही सिचुएशन है, जहां आपको न्याय की डिमांड के लिए जाना है, जहां पर आपको न्याय से किसी ने आपके ऊपर मुकदमा डाल दिया, इन दोनों ही परिस्थितियों में, जैसे महामाननीय लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब ने कहा, न्याय मंत्री जी ने कहा, सभी स्पीकर्स ने आपको कहा कि हम आपसे ये उम्मीद नहीं करते कि आप उस वक्त अपनी ड्यूटी छोड़कर, छुट्टियां लेकर के घर जाकर के इन मुकदमों की पैरवी करें। वो जिम्मेवारी नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी ने आज से अपने ऊपर ली है, और हमने ये स्कीम इस पर्पज के लिए आपके सामने लेकर के आए। न्याय मंत्री जी तो अच्छे कवि हैं, गायक हैं, जैसे हमने बात की, उन्होंने एक बहुत खूबसूरत एक बात करते करते उन्होंने बुल्ले शाह साहब की बात की। तो जब कश्मीर को ही इस स्कीम को लॉन्च करने के लिए चुनने की बात आई, तो मैं कुछ स्टडी कर रहा था उस वक्त कि क्या ये कैसे किया जाए और कैसे किया जाए। तो मुझे कश्मीर के एक बहुत बड़े सूफी संत हुए पीरजादा साहब, पीरजादा गुलाम अहमद महजूर, उन्होंने कश्मीरी में एक बात लिखी। मैं कोशिश करूंगा, शायद मैं ठीक पढ़ पाऊं, नहीं पढ़ पाऊंगा तो मुझे माफ कीजिएगा, मैं उसकी ट्रांसलेशन लेकिन आपके सामने जरूर रखूंगा। उन्होंने लिखा, वलो हा बागवानो नव बहारुख शान पैदा कर, फुलन गुल घट करान, बुलबुल तिथे सामान पैदा कर। You know what he said? Come, O gardener, Mali आओ, create the glory of a new spring, make the flowers bloom, and let the nightingales sing once again. कितनी बड़ी देश की यूनिटी, शांति, प्रेम, भाव की उन्होंने बात कही। तो हमें लगा कि कश्मीर की लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी की तरफ से, जम्मू कश्मीर लद्दाख की लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी की तरफ से ये प्रपोजल आया है। हमारे देश के सेनानी ज्यादातर इस क्षेत्र में हमारी रक्षाओं के लिए हमेशा ड्यूटी पर तत्पर रहते हैं। नॉर्थ ईस्ट भी हमारा एक ऐसा एरिया है, वहां पर भी हम कोई प्रोग्राम करने जा रहे हैं थोड़े से दिन के बाद। इस हालात में हमें लगा कि इससे बड़ा हमारे लिए कोई उचित स्थान नहीं है जहां पर हम इस स्कीम को आज लॉन्च करें। मेरे लिए एक और विषय जो मुझे बहुत एक खुशी देता है और जो मुझे लगता है कि कई बार मैं इंट्रोस्पेक्शन में जब पिछली बार की बातें सोचता हूं, देखता हूं, तो मुझे याद आता है कि नालसा के भी 30 साल पूरे हो गए, 30वां साल चला हुआ है। तो कई बार हम लोग बैठते हैं कि मैं इतनी साल में मैंने क्या खोया या क्या पाया, उसका जब विश्लेषण करते हैं, जब अपनी इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करते हैं, तो उस वक्त देखते हैं कि हमने क्या, जिस विजन के साथ, जिस कंसेप्ट के साथ, जिस परसेप्शन के साथ, जिस आर्टिकल 39A की इंप्लीमेंटेशन की कमिटमेंट के साथ ये इस इंस्टीट्यूशन की स्थापना हुई और हम देश के गांव-गांव, नगरी-नगरी, द्वारे-द्वारे हम पहुंचे, तो क्या हम वाकई उसमें सफल हुए हैं? तो मैं जब देखता हूं सैकड़ों स्कीम्स और उनके लाभान्वित लोग देश के कोने-कोने में, और जहां हम जाते हैं तो उससे लगता है कि वाकई देश की जनता ने जब अपने रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स के थ्रू 1987 में इस एक्ट को बनाया और लीगल एड को लागू करने की सारी जिम्मेवारी इस एक्ट में जुडिशरी को दे दी, तो ये जुडिशरी का एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, उनके ऊपर ये इस बात का भार हमेशा सदैव रहना चाहिए कि हमने उस ड्यूटी को प्रखर रूप से निभाया या नहीं निभाया। मैं खुशी से बात कह सकता हूं कि नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी ने अपनी स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज के थ्रू, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज के थ्रू या तालुका लेवल पर, और हमारे साथ बहुत सारे कुछ स्टेट्स में बहुत अच्छे एनजीओज या जो लोग हमसे जुड़े, कई इंस्टीट्यूशंस, कई एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस है, वो हमसे जुड़े, उनके माध्यम से मुझे इस बात में गर्व होता है कि मैं कह सकता हूं कि नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज ने या लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी स्टेट्स ने, सभी ने बहुत भारी सफलता अपने स्कीम्स में प्राप्त की है। मुझे पिछले कुछ दिनों में खासकर ये पता लगा कि लद्दाख में और नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हमारे पैरालीगल जो वॉलंटियर्स हैं, जिनको पीएलवी बोलते हैं, जो वॉलंटियर्स हैं, जो हमारी रिक्वेस्ट पर आए, माध्यम है वो हमारे पैरालीगल वॉलंटियर्स। मुझे बताया गया कि 2017 के बाद पैरालीगल वॉलंटियर्स को जो ऑनरेरियम मिलता है वो रिवाइज ही नहीं हुआ। तो मैं लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज की तरफ से डिमांड आई, बहुत सारी नॉर्थ ईस्ट से भी डिमांड आई हुई थी। तो मैं आने से पहले ये ऑर्डर पास करके आया हूं कि उनका डबल कर दिया जाए, जितना है उससे उनको डबल मिलेगा। हमारे लीगल पैनल के जो एडवोकेट्स हैं, जो जेल में और विजिट करते हैं और जिनको लीगल एड की सुविधा मुहैया नहीं होती, उनको प्रोवाइड करते हैं, तो उनका भी हमने जो ऑनरेरियम था उसको हमने डबल कर दिया है। उनको अगर 500 या 1000 रुपया जहां पर मिलता था तो हमने उसका डबल किया है। स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी को यह भी प्रावधान कर दिया है कि जितना हमने दिया है वो तो मिनिमम है, उससे भी अगर आप ज्यादा देना चाहेंगे तो वो स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी पर डिपेंड करेगा। अगर उनके पास फंड्स हैं तो हमने उनको ये भी लिबर्टी ग्रांट की है कि आप उससे ज्यादा उसको दे सकते हैं। इस स्कीम की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन को लेकर के चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब ने और हमारे दूसरे विद्वान वक्ताओं ने इस बात का किया कि स्कीम को तुरंत लागू कर दिया जाए। मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि हमने सारी इसकी होमवर्क इस पे कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं। डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री से, हमारा कंसर्न मिनिस्ट्री से इसकी मीटिंग्स होकर के सब कुछ इसको फाइनलाइज कर दिया गया है। सभी जिला सैनिक बोर्ड्स को हम लीगल एड क्लिनिक स्थापित करेंगे। हर एक जिला सैनिक बोर्ड में एक लीगल एड क्लिनिक होगा, राज्य सैनिक बोर्ड में एक स्टेट लेवल का हमारा एक लीगल एड क्लिनिक होगा। हर गांव में यह भी डिसाइड हुआ कि इस स्कीम के तहत जो हमारे पैरा लीगल वॉलंटियर्स होंगे, हम कोशिश करेंगे कि जो आर्मी के रिटायर्ड हमारे जवान साथी हैं, जो रिटायर्ड ऑफिशियल्स आर्मी के कहीं पर भी अवेलेबल हैं, तो हमारा सबसे पहले प्रार्थना उनको होगी कि वो आए और हमारे पैरालीगल वॉलंटियर्स के तौर पर इस स्कीम के लिए वो हमें ज्वाइन करें। कुछ एक्स सर्विसमैन हमारे ऐसे हैं जो, और मैंने देखा है बहुत अच्छा उनकी कमिटमेंट है, वो एडवोकेट बन जाते हैं, लॉ कर लिया उन्होंने। तो जो भी कोई एक्स सर्विसमैन एडवोकेट होगा, हमने उनको सबको खुली ऑफर दी है कि वो हमारे लीगल एड काउंसिल होंगे इस स्कीम के लिए। बिकॉज जिन लोगों ने आर्मी में शुरू किया है, जो आर्मी से जुड़े रहे हैं, उनको आपकी प्रॉब्लम्स का हमसे ज्यादा नॉलेज है। वो हमारी इस स्कीम को इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करने में जो इफेक्टिव टूल जिसको बोलते हैं, जो एकदम उसको सही मायने में उसका बेनिफिट आप तक मिले इमीडिएटली, उसके लिए वो लोग हमें लगता है कि बहुत ज्यादा इसमें हमारे सहयोगी हो सकते हैं। इसलिए फर्स्ट ऑफर हमने पैरालीगल वॉलंटियर्स की और लीगल एड काउंसिल्स की, वो सभी एक्स सर्विस पर्सन्स को हमने इसमें ऑफर किया है। हमारी जितनी वीर नारियां हैं, ये सब हमारी पैरालीगल वॉलंटियर्स रहेंगी, और इनको जैसे मैंने कहा है कि हम रिवाइज्ड ऑनरेरियम देकर के इनका मान सम्मान बढ़ाएंगे। ये हमारा इस स्कीम का एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है। आज मैं, जैसे अभी जस्टिस संजीव कुमार ने बड़ा डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन कर दिया, मैं उतनी बात अभी आवश्यकता नहीं है उतना कहूंगा, लेकिन इस पे एक मैं बधाई देता हूं स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटीज को। उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज आज लॉन्च करके एक टेक्नोलॉजी का एक सही मायने में सदुपयोग करके और आम आदमी तक, हर एक आदमी तक, टू रीच आउट एवरीवन, इन्होंने बड़ा एक अच्छा प्रयास किया है। उसी में मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि हमारी 2025 की स्कीम है, जिसके तहत हमने हमारी ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज के लिए, जिनको मैं और इतिहास जिनको हमारा नेटिव हमारे इस कंट्री के नेटिव माने जाते हैं, उन सब की उनकी सांस्कृतिक धरोहर को, उनकी वैल्यूज को और उनके जो राइट्स हमारे डिफरेंट लॉज में बने हैं, उनके लिए बहुत सारे ऐसे एक्ट हैं, बहुत सारे ऐसे प्रावधान हैं जिनमें हमारी ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज के विशेष अधिकार हैं। कई बार उन अधिकारों का ज्ञान नहीं होता, कई बार अधिकारों का ज्ञान तो होता है, उनको लेने की क्षमता नहीं होती, कई बार क्षमता भी होती है तो प्रोसीजर का नहीं पता होता। ये कई सारी इम्पेडिमेंट्स हैं, डिफिकल्टीज हैं जो हमारी ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज उनको फेस करती हैं। आज दोपहर के बाद एक कार्यक्रम है, मैं उसमें वहां पर उस स्कीम की डिटेल दूंगा, पर मैं आपको ये भी बताना चाहता हूं कि इसके लिए भी हमने आज, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ कश्मीर में, लद्दाख में बहुत बड़ी ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज हैं, तो हमने ये उचित समझा कि ये ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है जहां पे हमें उस स्कीम को इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करने के लिए यहाँ की लोकल ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज के लिए जो भी कुछ करना है, जो उनके समस्याएं हैं उनको समझना और उन समस्याओं का निदान करना उस स्कीम के तहत, वो सारे प्रयास हमारे आज वो भी जारी रहेंगे। आप सबको, डिफेंस फोर्सेस को, पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस को और ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज के बहनों और भाइयों को हम यही बताना चाहते हैं कि नेशनल लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी, स्टेट लीगल सर्विस अथॉरिटी आपके साथ हैं, आपके दुख में, आपके सुख में साथ हैं, पर आपके दुख को, अगर आपकी समस्याओं को बांटने का हमारे ऊपर एक जिम्मेवारी है। ये जिम्मेवारी पार्लियामेंट ने इस एक्ट के थ्रू दी हुई है। इसमें हम रोल जज की भूमिका नहीं निभाते। जब इस एक्ट के तहत जब हम आपके सामने होते हैं तो एक स्टैट्यूटरी अथॉरिटी के रूप में, वास्तविकता में एक समाज सेवक के रूप में हम आपके सामने खड़े हैं और हम आपके साथ इस बात के लिए जुड़े हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच। मैं आभारी हूँ चीफ जस्टिस अरुण पल्ली जी का, उन्होंने मुझे मौका दिया, बुलाया और आपके साथ मुझे ये बातचीत करने का, रूबरू होने का ये एक अवसर मिला। मैं इसके लिए आप सबका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Lordship for the visionary presidential address, which has grounded us in purpose and elevated our vision for justice that truly reaches all. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we arrive at a watershed moment that stands tall, not only in the timeline of this conference, but in the moral arc of justice itself, that resonates not just with legal outreach, but with the conscience of the nation. This is a historic moment, and a historic occasion as we stand witness to the launch of the Nalsa Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025, a heartfelt tribute to the indomitable spirit of our defense personnel and their families. Nalsa has prepared an audio-visual clip that captures the spirit and functioning of the Yojana. I request the IT team to kindly play the audio-visual clip.
Nalsa Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025 is a dedicated legal service scheme for the defense personnel, ex-servicemen and their dependents. The scheme provides for the establishment of legal services clinics within the Rajya and Zilla Sainik boards for rendering legal services and assistance to those who serve the nation. Through this noble initiative, Nalsa reaffirms its commitment of justice for every Veer Parivar. Honoring our heroes and championing justice for our Veer Parivar, Nalsa upholds its unwavering motto, access to justice for all.
Thank you. In this moment charged with emotion, pride, and purpose, I respectfully invite the Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court to kindly grace the stage. I also humbly request the Honorable Chief Justices of the participating High Courts, Honorable Executive Chairpersons of the State Legal Services Authorities, and Honorable Chairpersons of High Court Legal Services Committees of all High Courts to please ascend the stage for the formal launch of the landmark Yojana. I also request the honorable dignitaries on the dais to graciously join in this launch initiative. Distinguished guests, I also request everyone in this hall to please rise as a mark of respect and in a collective gesture of gratitude and solidarity as we dedicate this historic scheme to the soldiers of the nation and their families whose services and sacrifices inspire our deepest sense of duty and honor. I now take the honor of inviting Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Executive Chairman Nalsa, and all dignitaries on the stage to launch the Nalsa Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025. my deepest gratitude to the honorable dignitaries and our esteemed guests. I request everybody to please take their seats. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Nalsa Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana is launched, our hearts brim with pride and gratitude. We thank the honorable dignitaries and each one of you for standing with us in this glorious moment of dedication. And may this collective gesture, along with the message that the nation stands with its defenders, echo far beyond these walls and resound from the snowbound peaks of Siachen and Kargil to the dense forests of the northeast, across the deserts of Rajasthan and deep into the depths of the Indian Ocean, and then to the quiet homes of our Veer Sainiks, where the Veer Parivar waits and endures. The message that we, the people of India, honor our men and women in uniform, celebrate their existence, and stand shoulder to shoulder with them and their families, always and forever. Jai Hind.
Let us carry forward the spirit, the gratitude in our hearts and purpose in our actions. As we come to the closing moments of this inaugural session, I request Mr. Ajit Atri, Director, National Legal Services Authority, to present vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to stand before you as the Director of National Legal Services Authority and deliver the vote of thanks on this occasion, marking the launch of Nalsa Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana and inauguration of the North Zone Regional Conference on reaffirming the constitutional vision of justice for the defense personnel and tribals. The launch of this legal services scheme is not just a policy decision. It is a moral and constitutional imperative. This scheme is more than just a policy. It is in fact a promise that those who selflessly protect us will never be finding themselves unprotected in navigating the legal landscape. As I speak, I am overwhelmed with the profound sense of gratitude and appreciation towards so many people. At the very outset, I express my deepest gratitude to Honorable Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Judge Supreme Court of India, and Executive Chairman Nalsa, whose vision and commitment has not only inspired the conception of the scheme, but has also steered it realization with clarity and conviction. Lordship, your words today have reaffirmed our shared belief that justice must be inclusive, empathetic, and accessible, especially to those who risk their life every day to protect the sovereignty and integrity of this country. I extend my special thanks to Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Honorable Minister of State, Ministry of Law and Justice, for sparing time from his immensely busy schedule to grace this occasion. I thank him for the insightful address, persistent support in all the legal aid initiatives of Nalsa. I would also like to convey my sincere gratitude to Shri Manoj Sinha, Honorable Lieutenant Governor, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, for gracing this occasion with his presence and sharing his valuable insights with us. I also take this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude to Honorable Mr. Justice Arun Palli, Chief Justice, High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, and Patron-in-Chief of J&K and Ladakh Legal Services Authority, whose unwavering support and sensitivity towards the well-being of our soldiers, their families, and tribal communities has strengthened the organizational fabric of this program. I would also like to express my deep sense of gratitude to Shri Omar Abdullah, Honorable Chief Minister, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, for gracing this occasion with his benign presence and addressing the audience in such a beautiful manner, which has brought a connection to the purpose behind the initiative. My sincere thanks to Honorable Mr. Justice P.S. Narasimha, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Bandhan, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice N. Koteshwar Singh, Judge Supreme Court of India, and worthy spouses of the Honorable Judges for their presence on this occasion today. I am equally thankful to the Honorable Chief Justices of the High Courts, Honorable Executive Chairpersons of the Legal Services Authorities from respective High Courts, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Kumar, Executive Chairman, J&K Legal Services Authority, and Honorable Mrs. Justice Sindhu Sharma, Executive Chairperson, Ladakh Legal Services Authority, for their dedicated contribution and deep involvement in advancing legal aid. I would also express my sincere gratitude to Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, PVSM, AVSM, SM, General Officer Commanding in Chief, Northern Command, whose presence today signals a strong sense of solidarity and institutional support. A note of appreciation is due to the learned member secretaries of J&K Legal Services Authority and Ladakh Legal Services Authorities for their tireless efforts in organizing this program. I also express my special thanks to the senior officials of the armed forces who have embraced this initiative with remarkable warmth and commitment. This partnership shall remain a glowing example of inter-institutional synergy driven by shared concern for equal access to justice. To the learned members of the legal services authorities from different North Indian states, I offer my sincere gratitude for their presence and participation in this event. A special word of appreciation to the media representatives whose presence today and continued coverage in the coming days will ensure that this scheme reaches those for whom it is meant. To Shri Bharat Parashar, Member Secretary Nalsa, I would like to express my deepest sense of gratitude for his consistent guidance. To the officers and officials of Nalsa, Jammu and Kashmir Legal Services Authority, and Ladakh Legal Services Authority, I extend my sincere thanks. The smooth organization of today's event and the effective launch of the scheme is the testament to their behind-the-scene hard work, meticulous coordination, and dedication. A special acknowledgement to our partners in civil society, paralegal volunteers, and legal aid councils, many of whom are quietly working across the country. It is they who will carry this scheme to the last mile. Last but not least, a special thanks to all the unnamed volunteers who have selflessly offered their time and energy in ensuring the seamless execution of this event. At the end, I thank each one of you present here today for your time, your participation, and most importantly for the belief in this cause. Let us proceed with a renewed commitment to ensure that no defense personnel, no marginalized citizen, no seeker of justice is
under the scheme of Nalsa, Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025 for defense personnel, ex-servicemen and their family members at this Regional Sainik Welfare Office, Commemoration, Hyderabad. I now request Sri Ravi Gupta Garu, IPS, Special Case Secretary to Home Department, the Government of Telangana, to kindly present a sapling to Honorable Chief Justice Sri Advocacy Garu, Judge, High Court for State of Telangana. I now request Commemoration Ramesh Kumar Garu, Director of Sainik Welfare of Telangana State, to kindly present the sapling to Sri Ravi Gupta, IPS, Special Case Secretary. I now request Sri Ravi Gupta, IPS, Special Case Secretary to Home Department, Telangana State, to give a brief address on this occasion.
Honorable Chief Justice P. Sam Koshi, sir, Judge, High Court of the State of Telangana and Executive Chairman of Telangana State Legal Services Authority, Shri S. Shashidhar Reddy, Chief Judge, City Civil Courts, Hyderabad, Shri Panchakshi, Member Secretary, Telangana State Legal Services Authority, the secretaries of all district legal service authorities, officers of the state, officers of the Telangana State Legal Services Authority, Colonel Ramesh, Director Sainik Welfare, all the ex-servicemen and the staff of Sainik Welfare Department, State of Telangana, and all the press and the friends from the press and electronic media who are available through the INPR department. Sir, this is a very momentous occasion in which a major step has been taken for extending welfare measures for the for the defense services, the ex-servicemen. So we all know the soldiers at the border, whether it is Kashmir, whether it is Northeast or wherever, they are all in high stress, high tension areas, and being away from families, the children, the parents and all, that itself is a cause for stress. That too, when there is a problem at their hometown, in their homes, whether it relates to property disputes between neighbors, between friends, families, whether it is vacation of the house by tenants, whether it is encroachment or land grabbing done by some evil elements, or related matters, service matters, pension related matters, other compensatory matters which are due from the government and other sources, or maybe criminal matters. This access to legal aid and justice is a major step towards their welfare, and it will go a long way to remove the stress which they are facing on a day-to-day basis. So it's a wonderful step, this Veer Parivar Sahayata Yojana 2025, and I am 100% sure I have been associated with the Sainik Welfare Department for the last 4-5 years, sir, and I'm sure it will be of immense use, and I request the Director of Sainik Welfare to give it good publicity, and also we have about 10 district Sainik welfare boards in the state, and about 40 to 50,000 ex-servicemen, and of course the family members who can derive benefit and help or necessary legal aid, advice whenever required. So I request Colonel Ramesh Kumar, our Director Sainik Welfare, to take it forward in the right spirit, and so that it becomes a grand success. And I thank sir for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this function, and of course an opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your brief address on the occasion of God's Vijay Divas. May I now request Honorable Justice P. Shyamprasad to Judge High Court for the State of Telangana and Executive Chairman of Telangana State Legal Services Authority to speak a few words on this subject.
A very good afternoon to all. We have been watching this program since maybe a couple of hours. The very purpose, object and the aim behind this has already been told by so many speakers in so strong words that I don't think much is yet to be spoken. Nonetheless, as has been said by the Special Chief Secretary Shri Ravi Gupta, this is in fact a momentous occasion for the state of Telangana, where we have been able to join on the same day with the National Legal Services Authority in introducing and opening this legal aid center at the Sainik Welfare Board in Hyderabad. And I am sure that this would definitely give a positive message and a positive way towards helping the beneficiaries who are expected from this scheme, none other than the family of the defense personnel and the paramilitary forces who are settled in the nook and corners in the state of Telangana. Of course, we are all well aware of the very purpose for which this Sainik Welfare Board is established all around the country, which has been established with a noble cause of rendering all sorts of assistance to the defense personnel, so far as their service related issues, if I am not wrong. But this program is extending the arm a little bit forward so as to meet any other legal assistance or the access to the legal system in whatever little way that the judiciary or the judicial system can provide. As has been said by the speakers in the video that we just saw, the defense personnel at times are posted in the remotest corner of the country, guarding the nation and the citizens of this nation, and their families are at times put in the remotest corner of the other part of the country, and where they may have been facing some issues, could be of varied nature, and it is there where we want to extend this hand of ours through the Legal Services Authority with the association of the Sainik Welfare Board to provide them whatever little access that we can provide. It could be in the nature of guidance, it could be in the nature of consultation, it could be in the nature of providing them whatever assistance that they require to at least inform them the right window that they should knock at, or the right door at which they should knock at, so that their grievance can be redressed at the earliest. It is no doubt another program for the outreaching of to the defense personnel on the legal aspect. There are many such situations which we come across, but at a very belated stage, where we learn that the family members of one of the defense personnel have been deprived of the basic legal right that they are otherwise entitled for. But had they been contacted earlier, if we could have got in touch with them earlier, maybe we would have been able to provide them the right legal assistance with which their grievance could have been redressed far more smoothly and comfortably than the situation that they had been put into, or the perils to which they have gone through. And it is with this pious object behind is this scheme that has been floated. And I am sure these would not stop here by establishing this Sainik board or this legal aid clinic in this Sainik welfare board at Hyderabad alone. We will wish to render all necessary assistance with the able guidance of Colonel Ramesh, the director of this welfare board, to extend it at the first phase at all the Zilla Sainik welfare boards that you have. We will have legal aid centers at all those places at the first instance, and further down we will go into every districts in providing some legal aid centers exclusively for the family members and the ex-servicemen settled in the villages of this great state of Telangana. I am sure, as has been rightly pointed out by Shri Ravi Gupta, the Special Chief Secretary, that we need to take a campaign in bringing it to the notice and knowledge of every ex-serviceman and every family of an ex-serviceman residing in this state about establishment of these legal aid centers, so that they may approach and take the maximum use of these legal aid centers. It should not just be opening of legal aid centers for the purpose of showing the statistics or reflecting it on papers. The Chief Judge, Hyderabad City Civil Court, Hyderabad, has provided us one paralegal volunteer and an expert also in this legal aid center. They will be visiting this place twice a month, isn't it? Twice a month, and with the response that we will get, I am sure that twice a month can be increased to every week, and gradually we should have it every day, so that it is the maximum is taken out of this center that is being established. Today they may approach the Sainik Welfare Board in Hyderabad or the legal aid center established in Hyderabad. Tomorrow they should not be forced to travel from, say, Nizamabad or maybe Asifabad, from there to come to this place. They should have an access at the nearest point. If we are able to have such legal aid centers at the nearest point, that travelling time also would be established. The expenditure incurred in that also can be saved, and a timely redressal of the grievance can also be obtained at that level itself. So I am sure in the days to come we will carry this forward, and the campaign has to be done widely. We can make use of, we have got the personals from the media today, we need the assistance from the media, so that a message is sent through their media to every district headquarters or the remotest corner of the state, that there is one such center where the ex-serviceman can as of now take free legal aid, be it for a guidance, be it for a consultation, and if for any reason somebody is not in a capacity to meet the expenditures incurred for their legal assistance, we are there to provide, to cater to their need for that expenses also. We will provide all necessary assistance in incurring the cost that may, provided they fall in that category. Apart from the electronic media, we need to go into the print media, we need to go to the theatre, which is a strong media in the state of Telangana, very alive. We can make use of small clippings to be shown in the intervals of the cinemas that are being run in these theatres, of such a center being available and which should be used, so on and so forth. And today, since it's a beginning, in the days to come we will definitely sit and discuss and also try to carry on this aim and object behind establishment of, so that the object is achieved and a message can be transmitted from the state of Telangana that this center, this Scenic Welfare Board, this Legal Aid Center at Hyderabad and the legal aid centers that would be opened in the near future at the other district level Scenic Board, catering the need of all ex-servicemen, at least their family members would have this confidence there is somebody or there is some agency or there is one forum available to them to meet to their need, and for which I would earnestly request the wholehearted cooperation of every member sitting in this conference hall, as also all the persons who are directly or indirectly associated to this welfare board. With this, I wish all the very best to this legal aid center that is open today. Thank you.
Thank you, Miller, for such wonderful, thought-provoking and inspiring deliberations. At the request of Colonel P. Ramesh Kumar, Director of Science Welfare of Telangana State, today's inaugural session linked in the YouTube is shared to Sri Colonel P. Ramesh Kumar, sir, requesting him to share the same to all the concerned defense personnel, ex-servicemen and family members of the armed forces, sir. I now request Colonel P. Ramesh Kumar, sir, Director of Science Welfare of Telangana State, to propose vote of thanks.
Honorable Sri Justice P. Sam Koshi, sir, respected Special Chief Secretary to Government Home Department, Sri Ravi Gupta, sir, Sri Shashidhar Reddy Garu, Chief Judge, Hyderabad Civil Court, Sri Panchakshari Garu, Legal Advisor, Telangana State Secretary, Telangana State Legal Service Authority, all other honorable judges, all other secretaries of district state legal authorities, the staff of Telangana State Legal Services and District Legal Services Authorities, ex-service officer, especially Commander Dutt, sir, the Secretary of the Jalvayu Towers, my colleagues, my officers, my staff, all ex-servicemen, ladies, press and gentlemen. Namaskar and Jai Hind to all of you. Firstly, I wish to thank Honorable Sri Justice P. Sam Koshi, sir, the Chairman of the Telangana State Legal Service Authority, for giving us this honor that in our Psychic Welfare Department we could inaugurate the first legal service clinic, which has been spoken a lot during the day, so I won't repeat again, but I would only try to say one thing, that on an average, at least I get as a director at least 2 to 3 cases per week that people come to me saying, sir, I have this problem, now what do I do? Now the option left to me is write to our respected Special Chief Secretary Home, or the Director General of Police, or the District Collector, or the District Police Commissioner, or the Superintendent. It will look into that, which sometimes or maybe most of the times do not fall into their area, because they say that this is a civil matter. But that's where I am limited to, because I am not in a position to approach any of the legal authorities. Now today I am really thankful to the Nalsa, and I am really thankful to Honorable Sri Justice P. Samkoshi sir, for giving us this platform where such grievances could be addressed in situ. They don't have to go and look around anywhere else in Sainik Welfare Department itself. Just at the cost of taking the time, I wish to submit that with the kind efforts, kind support of our Honorable the government and our respected Special Chief Secretary, Telangana is the first state where we have created integrated Sainik Bhavans, where the Sainik Welfare Office is there, the ECHS Polyclinic for the ex-servicemen is there, the CSD is also there, the guest house is also there. Telangana is the pioneer for that. Telangana Sainik Code is the pioneer to that. Now we add one more feather to the crown, that we will have the legal aid also in the Sainik Bhavan. So the ex-servicemen do not have to go anywhere, they just have to come here and their legal advice would be given. So this is a major step which I think, and I thank you and each one of you who are here. Sir, we are very thankful to you, sir, for all your guidance. Sir, we have noted a mental note of that. We will now follow it up, both the press, electronic media. Luckily, sir, we have got a very good social media network. We have 76 official WhatsApp groups created to cover almost the entire 40,000 plus ex-servicemen and their families in the state. We reach each one of them. Each of our 10 regional Sainik welfare officers, they have their regular monthly interaction with all the ex-servicemen and families. We have the various ex-servicemen associations who come to us. Through that, sir, we assure you, sir, that we will try to reach the last mile, every village, every ex-serviceman and every family, so that they get their legal assistance. Yes, we have a constraint that we just have 10 officers, but definitely, sir, through our other sources, we will try to reach each and every district, the 33 districts, and fulfill the dream which the Nalsa and the Telangana State Legal Authority is doing. Last but not the least, I once again thank each one of you, my staff, the media team, the electronic team, all the staff members of the Telangana State Legal Service Authority, my own departmental staff, and the respected Special Chief Secretary and the Honorable Justice P. Samkoshi sir for having graced this occasion and supported us in all the means. We just overshot the time, otherwise probably would have made arrangements for the lunch, but we definitely had made some arrangements for the snacks and the tea.
Definitely come again.
Yes, sir. But it will be a great honor for us, sir. But we definitely have arranged some tea and snacks. I request all of you to have that before you leave. Thank you all. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.
Sir, thank you, sir. At this moment, it is time to introduce Sri K. Murali Mohan, advocate, as panel lawyer, and Dr. Suman Roy as paralegal volunteer. Finally, I express my deepest gratitude on behalf of Telangana State Legal Services Authority and the Honorable High Court to the Director of Sainik Welfare of Telangana State and this office for providing everything on this occasion. Thank you.